Song Zimo and I grew up together, and everyone assumed we'd go from school uniforms to wedding gowns. That was until Song Zimo met a bold, passionate girl and started doing all sorts of reckless, outrageous things for her. He even planned to abandon a major competition to run off to the Tibetan plateau with her, wanting the heavens and earth to bear witness to their love, worried for their safety. I had no choice but to tell his parents about their plan. Song Zimo was transferred to a closed boarding school and went on to become the national college entrance exam champion. He married me on the day his first love died in an accident, and then proceeded to torment me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the very beginning where it all started. 1. Jiangqing. Do you really think you can take Song Zimo from me? So what if you're childhood sweethearts? Haven't you heard that a childhood friend can't compare to a destined encounter? A faint, mocking smile played on Yu Xingxing's lips, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The setting sun cast dappled light and shadow through the alley after school, the air thick with a palpable sense of unease. I was cornered in the alley by Yu Xingxing and her little entourage, their eyes filled with scorn and hostility. I froze for a moment, the scene before me both strange and familiar. Memories flooded my mind like a tidal wave, and I finally realized I had been reborn in my past life. Yu Xingxing did the same thing, cornering me here, warning me not to harbor any foolish hopes of trying to steal her man. Song Zimo's cold-blooded cruelty, Yu Xingxing's brazen provocation, and the horrifying moment of my parents' brutal death. These scenes played out one by one in my mind. That suffocating agony and helplessness churned within me once more. A chill ran through me, and my body began to tremble uncontrollably. I remember it clearly, in my past life. It was because I told Song Zimo's parents about their relationship that he held a grudge against me for years. He blamed me entirely for his first love's accidental death, unleashing all his pain and resentment upon me. It ruined my future, led to my tragic death, and even dragged my innocent family down with me. Seeing me fall silent, Yu Xingxing thought she had frightened me, and a smug smile spread across her face. You think you're so great just because you're a top student, don't you? Let me make this clear, Song Zimo is mine. Don't you dare get any ideas about him. He's out of your league. I took a deep breath, trying hard to calm myself down. The tragic ending of my past life broke my heart. In this life, I absolutely cannot repeat the same mistakes. I have to stay away from Song Zimo, away from this disaster. I don't like Song Zimo, I said coldly, my tone resolute. If you want to be with him, then go after him openly and honestly. Yu Xingxing was clearly taken aback by my response. She paused for a moment, then smiled with satisfaction. Good, I hope you remember what was said today. If you dare go near him again, I can't promise what I might do. She turned and walked deeper into the alley with her gang of troublemakers, leaving behind a trail of smug laughter. I stood there, my legs weak, feeling as though I had just narrowly escaped death's door. After Yu Xingxing left, I leaned against the wall, closed my eyes, and recalled all the torment Song Zimo inflicted on me in my past life. In that previous life, after the two of them were forced to break up, Song Zimo finally settled down to focus on his studies, and our relationship slowly began to mend. Later, he confessed his feelings and proposed to me. On the surface, he was full of genuine affection, making it seem as though our marriage was born of true love. However, as time went on, his true nature gradually came to light. Gradually, all warmth vanished from his gaze, leaving behind only coldness and scorn. It's all because of you. If you hadn't snitched, Xingxing and I would still be together. I would have protected her. She would be safe. You've destroyed everything. His cruel methods filled me with terror and despair. Countless times I tried to escape, only to fail every single time. In the end, one night, he pressed a pillow over my face and watched coldly as I struggled until I suffocated to death. In this lifetime, I hope you two are stuck with each other forever. Two. I pretended to walk away, my steps light and quick, but my heart was a block of ice. I stopped at the corner of the alley, quietly hid in the shadows, held my breath, and watched the activity within. Before long, Song Zimo appeared. His handsome face was somewhat blurred in the fading light of the sunset, but I could still make out his figure clearly. He walked towards Yu Xingxing, and they stood very close. Their movements intimate. Yu Xingxing's arm was draped around his neck as they whispered and laughed together. My heart sank like a stone, as if struck by a heavy blow. Memories from my past life flooded back, and the betrayal and torment from Song Zimo lingered in my mind. Watching this scene, a wave of disgust washed over me, and my hands involuntarily clenched into fists. Zimo, doesn't it break your heart? Yu Xingxing's voice was coquettish, laced with a hint of a whine, after all. Jiangqing is your childhood sweetheart. Song Zimo gave a faint smile, lowered his head to kiss her forehead, and said in a cool, firm voice, as long as you're happy, you're the only one I care about. Hearing that, I let out a cold laugh in my heart, finding it utterly absurd. So, the tenderness and care I once believed in were nothing more than things he could discard at any moment. A strange ache welled up in my heart again. Suppressing the discomfort, I quietly turned and walked away. I couldn't let them find me. I had to get away from that unhinged couple and stay out of their messy drama for good. Back home, I poured all my energy into studying and preparing for the competition, grinding through practice problems and researching materials like my life depended on it. Yet, despite my best efforts to avoid them, I was caught off guard all the same. By chance, I ran into them again in the school hallway. Yu Xingxing was leaning against the wall, while Song Zimo stood close. His head bowed as if they were discussing something important. Just as I was about to turn and leave, I overheard their conversation. Let's go to the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, to witness our love. Yu Xingxing's voice was brimming with anticipation and longing. Song Zimo nodded. All right, but this has to stay between us. No one can know, especially Jiangqing. She's the biggest tattletale. Hearing that, I felt a wave of disgust. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, my heart filled with revulsion. I started to wonder why on earth I had ever liked him. And for so many years at that, what a complete fool I'd been. I never expected to come home that evening and catch Song Yimo secretly buying travel supplies. Song Zimo looked at me with a flicker of surprise on his face, his voice cold as he issued a warning. Jiangqing, watch your mouth. Don't you dare breathe a word of this to anyone. The sight of his alternative style, hair dyed in garish colors and earrings studding his ears, turned my stomach. Don't worry, I sneered. I don't have time to waste on your pathetic little drama. Song Zimo's expression instantly darkened, but I paid it no mind. I turned and walked away. My thoughts fixed solely on how to excel in the competition and leave all of this behind for good. 3. I saw Song Zimo again, over by the school sports field. The sun was bright, a gentle breeze was blowing, and the campus was full of life. But Song Zimo stood out starkly against this beautiful scene. He was standing under a large tree. He had his ears pierced, wore a silver ring on his finger, and his hair was a colorful mess of foil-permed curls. He was no longer the straight-A student who followed all the rules. A rebellious, dissipated air now hung about him. I couldn't help but frown, finding his current appearance both ugly and repulsive, a far cry from his former brilliance. My deskmate, Xiao Zhang, watched Song Zimo and Yu Xingxing with an envious look, turning to me excitedly and saying, Jiangqing, look how sweet they are, a perfect match, truly a talented man and a beautiful woman. I turned to look and saw Yu Xingxing nestled in Song Zimo's arms, her face beaming with a blissful smile. Yeah, I replied with a perfunctory smile, they do make a good match. Xiao Zhang went on, you know, Yu Xingxing has been making a fuss about breaking up with Song Zimo lately. She says he's too outstanding, with too much of a halo around him, and everyone will think she's not good enough for him. I let out a cold snort. My heart filled with disdain. Really? And what did Song Zimo say? I asked, feigning concern. Song Zimo said he would tutor Yu Xingxing so they could get into the same university together, Xiao Zhang said, her eyes sparkling with romantic longing. He also promised he'd always be by her side, so she'd never feel alone. The power of love is truly something. Xiao Zhang sighed wistfully. I wish I had a straight-A student for a boyfriend too. I shook my head helplessly. You've been reading too many novels. Miracles like that don't just happen. You'd better focus on your studies. Xiao Zhang pursed her lips and fell silent. My mind drifted back to my past life, when I had accidentally overheard Yu Xingxing talking with her so-called friends. I don't actually like Song Zimo that much, Yu Xingxing said offhandedly. It's just that he has that top student aura. It sounds impressive when I mention him, makes me seem more desirable. Hearing that felt like a needle piercing my heart. So she had never truly loved Song Zimo. She was just using his reputation to boost her own status and flaunt her appeal. I used to think Yu Xingxing wasn't the right person for Song Zimo, but now I think they're a perfect match. Within a few days, Yu Xingxing started complaining about how hard studying was, saying she simply couldn't keep it up. To please her, Song Zimo decided to abandon his own studies and descend into idleness with her. Xingxing, I can't bear to see you struggle like this. Song Zimo said gently, we can find something else to do together. We don't necessarily have to go to university. Besides, I'm clever enough that I'll make a fortune no matter what. A glint of triumph flashed in Yu Xingxing's eyes as she nestled into Song Zimo's arms. "Zimo, you're so good to me." Watching their sickeningly sweet display, a cold sneer rose within me. The so-called power of love between them was nothing but a pretext for mutual exploitation. 4. Ever since deciding to descend into ruin with Yu Xingxing, Song Zimo has been inseparable from her. They never hid their relationship on campus either, as if the entire world had shrunk to just the two of them. Academics no longer seemed to matter to them. Song Zimo even passed up numerous competition opportunities. I watched from the sidelines with a cold, scornful smile in my heart, since he didn't want it. That opportunity was now mine for the taking, together with a few like-minded classmates. I buried myself in practice problems day and night in the classroom, preparing for the competition, endless practice tests, mock exams, and study groups. My daily schedule was packed to the brim. I poured all my focus into my studies, completely tuning out their affairs, that is, until the day Song Zimo's father caught them red-handed. Just as my classmates and I were heading to the library, a commotion erupted from the school gate. "What on earth are you doing?" An angry voice shattered the campus's tranquility. I followed the sound and saw Song Zimo's father standing at the school gate, his face flushed with rage. Song Zimo stood before him, his fists clenched tight. "Just look at the state of you," Song Zimo's father shouted, pointing an accusatory finger at him. "Spending every day with that delinquent girl, neglecting your studies. Is this how you repay our expectations?" Song Zimo remained silent, his clenched fists betraying his anger and resentment. Yu Xingxing stood to the side, a flicker of panic crossing her face, but she quickly regained her composure. She took a step forward, trying to take Song Zimo's hand. "Zimo, let's go." "Stop right there," Song Zimo's father bellowed angrily. "Your ridiculous antics have become the talk of the entire school, and now they've even called in the parents." I happened to be walking past with a classmate when Song Zimo's father suddenly turned his gaze on me, his eyes filled with disappointment and fury. "Look at Jiangqing over here. Top grades, always striving to do better. Why can't you be more like her?" Song Zimo's expression instantly darkened. He stared at me as if he were trying to see right through me. A chill ran through me. I knew he must suspect I was the one who told on him. "Jiangqing," Song Zimo said coldly. "Was it you who told my father?" I let out a cold laugh and shot back without backing down. "Don't lash out like a rabid dog. Who has time to care about your mess?" The homeroom teacher arrived just then and tried to mediate. "Song Zimo, you've misunderstood Jiangqing. The school called your parents this time because the video of you and Yu Xingxin has been circulating on campus, and the impact has been very negative." Song Zimo's expression darkened further, his fists were clenched tightly, clearly struggling to contain his rage. I didn't want to drag this out any longer. Turning to the homeroom teacher, I said, "I have something to attend to. I'll be leaving now." Seeing this, Yu Xingxin sneered at me. "Jiangqing, you're really good at playing the innocent saint, aren't you?" I glanced back at her and retorted coldly, "Takes one to know one." 5. Although Song Zimo's feelings for Yu Xingxing were unwavering, his parents never approved of their relationship. They believed Yu Xingxing would ruin Song Zimo's studies and future, destroying everything for their son. Song Zimo stood before his parents and said angrily, "You've only ever treated me like a study machine. Yu Xingxing is the only one who truly loves me. If you don't agree to us being together, I'll kill myself." Song Zimo's mother turned pale, a flicker of fear in her eyes. She had never seen her son so resolute. Song Zimo's father was also left speechless, at a loss for how to respond. In the end, Song Zimo's parents had no choice but to relent. They agreed to let him be with Yu Xingxing, but on the condition that it must not interfere with his studies. Song Zimo nodded, a faint, triumphant smile playing at the corner of his mouth. Not long after the whole affair had settled down, Song Zimo's mother sought me out in private. Her expression was a complex mix of emotions as she said to me earnestly, "Jiangqing, could you please talk some sense into Zimo? You've liked him since you were children, and we've always thought of you as our future daughter-in-law." I was mortified and furious, but I politely pushed her hand away. "Auntie, you've misunderstood. I only see him as a neighbor, nothing more." She let out a sigh, her eyes filled with helplessness and disappointment. I recalled how, in my past life, after Song Zimo achieved fame and success, his mother gradually grew cold towards me. She felt I was a burden to her son and wasn't good enough for him. She often hinted that Song Zimo should divorce me and find someone better. After my tragic death, she was actually relieved and went right back to scouting for a well-matched, wealthy, beautiful girl for her son. After all those years as neighbors, my parents' death didn't stir a single emotion in them. She didn't even show her face on the day of the funeral. Thinking of all this, my heart filled with a cold resolve. 6. Song Zimo and Yu Xingshan began their relationship openly and without reservation. They were practically shouting their great love from the rooftops. Every day, they'd hold hands while fetching water, attending class, and eating meals, a constant, public display of affection. The couple wore matching outfits, and Yu Xingxing was always leaning her head on Song Zimo's shoulder. It made the students trying to study around them utterly mortified. Although Song Zimo was completely wrapped up in his romance, his solid academic foundation held firm. Contrary to the teacher's expectations of a dramatic fall, his grades remained stable, and he continued to hold the top spot in his grade. Seeing all this, Yu Xingxing was positively smug. She even openly mocked us hard-working students. What's the point of all your effort? You still can't compare to my boyfriend. My deskmate, Xiao Zhang, flushed with anger, stood up for me. Jiang Qing. Just ignore her. She's just jealous of you. I gave a charming smile and stopped her. It's fine, she's not wrong. Song Zimo really is impressive, but only I knew that Song Zimo's lead was slowly but surely shrinking. With every exam, my grades kept improving, while Song Zimo's scores gradually plateaued. There were even a few times when he was only a little ahead of me. What's the use of being a genius if you neglect your studies and have ill intentions? You'll end up just like Zhong Yong, fading into mediocrity. I kept my head down and buried myself in my studies, pouring all my energy into learning. Every time I saw Song Zimo and Yu Xingxin together, I felt not a ripple of emotion. Instead, they just seemed more and more ridiculous to me. They were laughing and playing on the sports field, while I was in the classroom, scribbling away furiously at my desk. They were enjoying a sweet meal together in the cafeteria, while I had my head buried in books at the library. Every time I saw their intimate gestures, only one thought filled my mind: I will carve out my own path through sheer hard work. One noon, Yu Xingxing publicly mocked us once again. Tossing her head back, she declared with pride, "A bunch of trash. Hard work is worthless in the face of natural talent." Xiao Zhang was seething with indignation. He stood up to retort, but I gently held him back. "Don't be angry, it's not worth it," I said with a smile, a flicker of coldness passing through my eyes. Only I knew that if Song Zimo continued down this path, he would one day pay the price for his choices. Song Zimo and Yu Xingxing continued to bask in their romance, while I was steadily closing in on my own objective. With every exam and every competition, I keep improving, moving ever closer to my dream. The halo of genius will eventually fade, but hard work and perseverance will carry me much further. 7. The day of the competition arrived quickly. Our group gathered early at the school gate, ready to board the bus to the venue. My classmates wore expressions of nervous excitement, all looking forward to the contest. However, just as we were about to get on the bus, I spotted an unexpected guest. Yu Xingxin arrived as well, looking smug as she clung to Song Zimo's arm, as if the competition was their own private world. Well, Jiang Qing, she greeted with a grin. "Bet you didn't expect me to be going too." Suppressing my disgust, I replied coldly, "Whatever." Once on the bus, Yu Xingxin and Song Zimo sat in the row behind us, whispering and giggling as if they'd completely forgotten anyone else was around. The other students were clearly affected, but they were too embarrassed to say anything. I tuned it all out, keeping my head down as I leafed through my dog-eared notes. I tried my best to focus, determined not to let their disruptions get to me. After a long, bumpy ride, the vehicle finally arrived at the competition venue. Everyone got off the bus, nervously preparing to enter the examination hall. Inside the exam room, the air was thick with tension as everyone made their final preparations for the test ahead. I took my seat, took a deep breath, and began to answer the questions with focus. I considered each question carefully, striving to give a perfect answer. In my past life, I was also on track to get a direct university admission through academic competitions, but because of the incident where I was reported, Song Zimo publicly humiliated me at school on numerous occasions. His harsh words broke me. I cried for a long time, underperformed, and even ended up doing poorly on the final college entrance exam. That period was truly the darkest time of my life. 8. I put down my pen, walked out of the exam hall, and felt a wave of relief. Out of the corner of his eye, Yu Guangzhong caught sight of Song Zimo, whose expression was grave, as if weighed down by heavy thoughts. Everyone else was happily discussing the answers. but he alone seemed out of sorts. Jiangqing, Song Zimo suddenly walked over and said to me in a low voice, "I need to talk to you. Can you step outside for a moment?" I hesitated for a moment, but in the end, I nodded and followed him to a quiet, secluded corner. "What is it?" I asked coldly. Song Zimo glanced at me, a complex emotion in his eyes. "In my past life, I was too impulsive. I did many wrong things." I was stunned. He remembers his past life too. Could it be he was also reborn? Can we just let each other go this time? Everything that happened before was my doing alone. It had nothing to do with Xingxing. A cold sneer formed in my heart. "The thing I regret most is having liked you in my past life," I spoke bluntly, my gaze unwavering. Song Zimo was clearly stunned by my words, his expression darkening further. I continued, "But I've made it clear, again and again, that I have zero interest in any of you. I just want to live my own life in peace, and I'd appreciate it if you'd stay out of it." Just then, Yu Xingxin suddenly stormed over, her eyes blazing with fury. "Jiangqing, how dare you try to steal my boyfriend?" she shrieked. Her voice sharp and piercing. I stared at her coldly, my heart filled with disgust. "I didn't seduce him. He came to talk to me himself," I said in a flat, detached tone. Yu Xingxin clearly didn't believe me and raised her hand to strike me. I reacted swiftly, slapping her across the face. A sharp crack echoed in the air. She froze, her hand covering her face, her eyes wide with disbelief. Seeing this, a flash of anger crossed Song Zimo's eyes as he shielded Yu Xingxin behind him. "Jiangqing, you've gone too far." I gave him a cold stare and raised my hand to slap him across the face once more. "You're no better," I snapped angrily. "You two nuisances, get out of here before you offend everyone's sight." Yu Xingxin was seething with rage, struggling to lunge at me, but she took a few steps back after I shot her a cold, withering glare. "May the scumbag and the bitch be together forever. Don't ever bother me again." I spat out the words venomously and turned to leave without a moment's hesitation. 9. Word of the fight I got into off campus quickly reached my parents. They sat me down for a talk. But instead of the scolding I expected, their faces were filled with worry and concern. "Qingqing, that boy Song Zimo isn't right for you. I'm afraid if you keep pursuing this, the only one who'll get hurt is you," Mom said gently, her voice full of concern. Dad furrowed his brow, his eyes also filled with confusion and worry. I took a deep breath, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside me. "Mom, Dad, I know you're worried about me, but I really don't have feelings for Song Zimo anymore," I said firmly. "That was then, this is now. All I want is to get into a good university and build a bright future for myself." Mom sighed, took my hand, her eyes full of tenderness. "We know you've liked him all these years, and we know you've been through a lot for him." Dad patted my shoulder, his voice gentle. "We respect your choice, we'll support whatever you think is right." Hearing my parents' words, I couldn't hold back my tears. Their love and understanding filled me with immense warmth and gratitude. Mom continued, "Well, the exams are over now, why don't we go on a trip for a few days to relax?" Tears welled up in my eyes as I remembered how my parents had loved and protected me just the same in my past life. Back then, they had tried to gently warn me on multiple occasions, telling me that Song Zimo's intentions might not be pure, but I was so love-struck and foolish that I ignored their advice, which ultimately led to my own tragic death. In the end, devastated by the loss of their beloved daughter, my mother died from a sudden heart attack, and my father, in a daze, was killed in a car accident. Thinking of this fills me with immense pain and regret. In this life, I will cherish my parents' love and never again give them cause for worry or heartache. "Okay," I said, my voice choked with emotion, my eyes filled with gratitude and resolve. They smiled, nodded, and held me in a tight embrace. "This time, I won't let the tragedy repeat itself. I will study hard to secure a bright future for myself and my parents." 10. The competition results came out, and I successfully secured a direct admission spot. At that moment, I felt as if a huge weight had been lifted from my chest, and a wave of relief washed over me. Meanwhile, Song Zimo missed out on the guaranteed admission spot. Years of hard work went down the drain, and in the end, he had no choice but to take the college entrance exam like everyone else. His pride and aura began to fade, growing dim and lackluster. I decided to stop going to school and focus entirely on preparing for university. At home, I peacefully enjoyed this brief respite while making thorough preparations for the future. Even though I've left the school drama behind, I still hear the occasional rumor about Song Zimo and Yu Xingxing. Once, Xiao Zhang made a point of coming to tell me, "Jiangqing, Did you know, Song Zimo actually stole the exam papers just to save face and keep his top ranking? I really thought he was that brilliant, acing every test without even studying. Turns out he was using underhanded tricks. When I heard it, I just gave a faint smile and didn't say another word. Song Zimo was once a prodigious academic star, but now, driven by vanity, he has set foot on a path of no return. In several mock exams, Song Zimo's scores still ranked near the top, but that former brilliance had significantly dimmed. Meanwhile, I was smoothly admitted to a top-tier university through early acceptance. After the National College Entrance Exam concluded, Song Zimo's results were made public. To everyone's surprise, he had failed. He could only get into an ordinary university, a result that seemed especially glaring when compared to his former academic brilliance. The school was in an uproar, with everyone talking about the incident. Whenever the topic of teenage romance came up, the teachers would always trot out his illustrious story as a cautionary tale. Look at Song Zimo. He was supposed to be our school's pride and joy. But he neglected his studies because of a teenage romance and ended up at a mediocre college. The teachers earnestly imparted their wisdom to the students. As for Yu Xingxing, with his consistently poor grades, a vocational college was the only option. Looking at all this, I felt little to no emotion stir within me. I know this isn't fate's design. Everyone must face the consequences of their own choices. 11. My university life was fulfilling and busy. I joined my supervisor's research project even before officially starting my studies. In my spare time, I also participated in various competitions and consistently won awards. In terms of academic research, I continued to make breakthroughs, successfully secured a postgraduate recommendation, and am preparing to apply for a Ph.D. program. Throughout university, I gradually distinguished myself as a top-tier student. Every time I stand on the podium and see the admiring, longing gazes from the audience below, I'm always deeply moved. With my relatively striking looks, I've had no shortage of guys pursuing me, but I've turned each one down. Knowledge, a promising future, scientific research, these are the things I truly want in this life. Occasionally, I'd hear some rumors about Song Zimo and his circle. In this lifetime, his relationship with Yu Xingxing wasn't as solid as they had promised it would be. They were always vowing to be together forever. But reality told a different story. Song Zimo attended an ordinary university, while Yu Xingxing went to a vocational college in the same city. At first, they remained close, flaunting their affection all over social media. In less than a year, Yu Xingxing lost interest in Song Zimo and started getting involved with the flashy, popular guys at school. After Song Zimo started university, his former aura gradually faded. He was no longer the celebrated genius everyone looked up to. Song Zimo's family grew increasingly dissatisfied with his performance, constantly blaming him for not getting into a top-tier university and causing them to lose face. This pressure and resentment gradually built up within him, becoming the spark that ignited the conflict between him and Yu Xingxing. One complained that the other had lost their former glory and could no longer be a source of pride, while the other resented the first for their past impulsiveness, which had derailed their own prospects. Their arguments grew more frequent, and their relationship became increasingly strained. In the end, in less than a year, their relationship reached its breaking point, and they officially broke up. The breakup was reportedly an ugly spectacle, with Yu Xingxing publicly airing Song Zimo's many flaws, and Song Zimo firing back without mercy, accusing her of being materialistic and vain. These scandals are the talk of their circle. A truly lamentable state of affairs. Hearing this, I felt no ripple of emotion within me. In fact, I even felt a certain grim satisfaction. These are the consequences of their own choices and have nothing to do with me. I refocused my attention on my own studies and my future. A new chapter in my life has begun, and I will continue moving forward to pursue my dreams and goals. 12. Late one night, I was idly clearing out the junk on my phone. I scrolled through old text messages and infrequently used apps, thinking about tidying up my phone a bit more. Suddenly, my gaze landed on a text message from an unknown number. The message was already 2 or 3 months old, and it simply read, "How are you?" That brief greeting stirred something faintly within me. Even though the number was unfamiliar, I had a pretty good idea who it was. Song Zimo's belated greeting held absolutely no meaning for me. I turned and tossed that text message into the trash, deleting it for good. That night, I slept peacefully. I woke up the next day to sunlight streaming through the curtains onto my pillow, filling me with a sense of warmth. A new day had begun. and the future was still in my hands. 13, 13, 13, finally made it home for the new year. I ran into Song Zimo's mother while taking a walk on the street. Gone was the opulent glamour of her past life. In this one, she looked worn and weary. Dressed plainly with a dull complexion, it seemed she had worried herself sick over Song Zimo. Wearing an ingratiating smile, she hurried over, took my hand, and began making small talk. Ching ching, it's been so long. She greeted me warmly, a note of eagerness in her tone. I gave a polite nod. Auntie, it's been a long time. I heard you're doing incredibly well. You got your PhD and stayed on to teach at the university. You've really made something of yourself. I smiled and replied. Thank you for the kind words, Auntie. It's the result of many years of hard work. She hesitated for a moment, then continued, actually, Auntie, there's something I'd like to ask of you. Zimo is also planning to apply for your university's graduate program. He studies very hard, but he could use some guidance in a few areas. Do you think you could spare some time to help him? After all, you two grew up together, childhood sweethearts, and didn't you used to? A cold laugh rose within me. And I cut her off. Auntie, I'm truly sorry, but I'm about to go abroad for an academic exchange with my advisor, so my schedule really won't allow it. Besides, I'm confident in his academic abilities. He shouldn't have any problems. He always left me in the dust back in the day, didn't he? If he still needs help, perhaps he could look into tutoring services. At my response, Song Zimo's mother's expression darkened. She forced a strained smile. Just then, Song Zimo himself walked over. One had to admit, heaven had favored him. His face was still strikingly handsome, yet it had lost all the noble arrogance of his past life. He seemed utterly numb and weary. He resembled a down-and-out wandering poet. He stood to the side, a complex mix of emotions in his eyes, as if he had much to say but couldn't find the words. I gave him a polite nod. It's been a while. His lips parted, but in the end, he only said quietly, it's been a while, Jiangqing. I didn't say anything more. After the greeting, I turned and walked away. Life goes on, and my future remains full of hope and promise. As for whether he's good or bad, it's none of my concern. 14, 14, 14. After earning my doctorate, I chose to stay on at the university as a faculty member. I balanced teaching and mentoring students with continuing my research work. Within just a few years, I became a rising star in the academic world. I'm not anyone's wife, nor am I anyone's girlfriend. Later, at the class reunion, Xiao Zhang pulled me aside and said in a hushed, mysterious tone, Jiangqing, did you know, Song Zimo is planning to take the postgraduate entrance exam for your university? Guess what happened next? He continued, brimming with curiosity. He only passed the preliminary exam on his second try, but then he kept getting rejected in every subsequent interview. After 5 years of trying, he ended up with nothing to show for it. Zhang Nan sighed. Who would have thought? The prodigy from our high school would end up like this. Hearing this, a flicker of scorn rose within me. He made his bed, now he has to lie in it. I said coldly, there's nothing to regret. He chose his own path, so he should face the consequences of his actions. Even with a second chance, he still managed to mess up his life completely. It's almost laughable. Not long after, Song Zimo actually came to find me at the school. A complicated expression on his face. Jiangqing, I know I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? He pleaded. I regret it. I should have listened to you and stayed far away from you. Xingxing. Can we start over? After all we've been through, I've realized it's always been you I love. I'm sorry for what happened in our past life. Give me another chance. And I promise I'll make it up to you. Please. I looked at him, my heart filled with cold indifference and finality. Song Zimo, you've long since run out of chances, I said without a shred of mercy. Stay out of my life from now on. A fresh start. You think you deserve one. You don't love me. You're just washed up now, with no real prospects on your own, and you need my help. If you were still as successful as you were in your past life, would you even remember I exist? You'd never come crawling to me like this. He froze, a flicker of exposed embarrassment and helplessness crossing his face. I didn't give him another chance, turning and walking away. Before he could start barking again, I signaled for security to have him removed. In this life, Yu Xingxing's fate was similarly unfortunate. In her previous life, after breaking up with Song Zimo, she didn't take any time for herself. Instead, she jumped from one relationship to another, neglecting her studies. She ultimately married an older man with a bit of money. However, she never settled down and was constantly fooling around. In the end, the old man, driven to fury, stabbed her to death in the street. In this life, she remained restless, marrying and divorcing several times. She now works in a dubious profession, sinking ever deeper into the mire. That once fabled, picture-perfect couple has become the ultimate laughingstock. As for me, I have finally stepped into the brilliant life that was always meant to be mine. Story 2. After Song Kai and I were reborn together, we tacitly pretended that we didn't know each other. He followed the class beauty to go to college in another city, and I stayed in this city, relying on the experience of living an extra life. He quickly became a rising star in the industry, married a beautiful woman, and enjoyed great glory. I stayed with my parents and lived a happy life in my hometown. We met again at a class reunion 10 years later. He hugged the school beauty, smoked a cigar, looked at me in plain clothes, and said sarcastically, "In the past 10 years, have you become like this?" I am indifferent, until the late business tycoon hugged me and said, "Excuse me, my wife is pregnant. I hope everyone will not smoke indoors." Song Kai, who was usually reserved and calm, was visibly panicked. He finally realized that I was not angry with him after so many years of separation. 1. The next time I met Song Kai was at a class reunion 10 years later. I pushed open the door of the private room and heard someone inside teasing, "Song Kai, you are really good, you even got the class beauty." Nonsense. Don't you see how well Song Kai is doing in the big city now? How can ordinary people like us compare with Boss Song? But I heard that you and Ching were having an affair. You two often studied together, and everyone in the class said you were a couple. At that moment I heard a familiar voice casually say, "It's just a learning partnership, don't take it seriously." I smiled indifferently. It has been 10 years since I was reborn, so naturally I don't have any emotions anymore, so I calmly opened the door. Even though I hadn't seen him for 10 years, I recognized Song Kai at first sight. He was sitting on the sofa, smoking a cigar, with the class beauty Lin Ranran leaning in his arms. The classmates gathered around them. The two of them are like the moon surrounded by stars. The moment I appeared, everyone looked over at me. The squad leader immediately said enthusiastically, "Oh, if you mention the devil, he will appear." And Ching, "Look who's here." Song Kai and I looked at each other. He hugged Lin Ranran, looked me up and down with a frivolous look in his eyes, and a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes. "I am dressed simply today. I didn't wear any makeup because I was pregnant." The whole person looked a little dusty. There's no comparison with Lin Ranran. She was wearing a Chanel dress, carrying an Hermes bag, and had exquisite makeup on, making her look like a very pampered person. I greeted them gracefully. "Long time no see." Song Kai nodded slightly, very indifferent. Lin Ranran just smiled slightly. I didn't bother to please them, so I turned around and started chatting with some of my more familiar classmates. "The only one missing is Lu Yan," the squad leader suddenly said. "He just sent us a message saying that the plane is delayed and that we don't need to wait for him." All the students sat around the dining table. They all took the initiative to toast Song Kai and praised him highly. After 3 rounds of drinks, I went to the bathroom. As soon as I came out, I met Song Kai, whose face was red due to alcohol. He said sarcastically, "And Ching, in the 10 years since you left me, have you become like this?" I am indifferent. I just suddenly remembered what happened before we were reborn. 2. Before my rebirth, Song Kai and I had a fierce argument on the highway. The reason was that after graduating from university, I accompanied Song Kai to the big city and worked hard together for a full 10 years. Now that my career has been somewhat successful, I want to go back to my hometown. I am an only child. My father died last year because he suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and was not sent to the hospital in time. My mother is the only one left at home, and I am worried about her. Song Kai also promised me that he would go back once he made a certain amount of money, but now he keeps procrastinating, saying that there is no future in his hometown and it is not worth going back, and he told me clearly that he would never go back. At worst, I can bring my mother here to raise her, but my mother had been here a long time ago. She was not used to this city and had no relatives or friends around her. Not to mention my mom. I haven't felt a sense of belonging in this city for so many years. I finally couldn't help but get angry at him. "If you don't go back, I will go back by myself." "Do you really have to push me like this?" Song Kai questioned me. "What's wrong with staying in this city? Do you want to be a country bumpkin for the rest of your life? When our child is born, will we lose at the starting line?" I am now 5 months pregnant, also because I'm pregnant. I want to go back even more. I know how hard it is to leave a city once a child is born. Besides, my hometown is not bad, although it is not an international first-tier city. It is also a quasi-first-tier city, and is not as bad as Song Kai said. According to you, people who stay in small cities are useless. Only useless people would be willing to live in a small city, muddle-headed all their lives, without any ambitions. Song Kai's face was full of contempt. I despise people like this the most. In your mind, this is who I am, right? I sneered. I don't want you to become such a person, Song Kai said righteously. Then he suddenly said, if I had known earlier, I shouldn't have chosen to stay in my hometown with you to go to college. It delayed me for 4 years. I should have come here earlier with Lin Ranran to work hard. Before graduating from high school, Lin Ranran confessed to him, but he rejected her. He and I have been study partners for 3 years, and we have already developed feelings for each other, but ever since he accompanied me to apply for university in my hometown, I don't know how many times these 14 years have been repeated. At first I thought he was just joking. Maybe he was telling me in disguise how good he was to me, how much he loved me, and how much he had sacrificed for me. Later I found out that he really felt very regretful, so after we had a car accident and were unexpectedly reborn together on the day of filling out college entrance examination applications, he had no choice but to follow Lin Ranran to go to college in another province. I stayed in this city. We both knew that the other had been reborn, but we both tacitly agreed not to interfere with each other. 3. I thought Song Kai and I would never have any contact with each other in this life. Looking at his appearance at this moment, it was obvious that he was waiting for me on purpose. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he sarcastically said, now you finally understand what great development you can achieve by staying in your hometown. Look at yourself, and then look at these old classmates, who is living a good life, but it's too late for you to regret. I've already planned to marry Lin Ranran. He took out a huge ring. The diamond is huge, about 5 carats. The reason I could tell it at a glance is that it looks a little smaller than the one I have at home. He said, if you hadn't done it, this ring would have belonged to you. When Song Kai and I got married in my previous life, he wasn't as rich as he is now, so the ring he bought was very ordinary. The show-off at this moment is also undisguised. Then congratulations, I said indifferently, walk right past him. I felt Song Kai's gaze behind me, and he seemed unhappy. I don't even know what he's upset about. He chose his own path, and the life he lives is what he dreamed of in his previous life. Could it be that he really needs to see me regretting things in order to be happy? I sat back in my dining chair when the phone rang. Looking at the incoming call, I answered it. Have you gotten off the plane? Yes, I'll be right there. If you're tired, then don't come over. I'll go back by myself later. How can you let your wife go to a class reunion by herself and then go back by herself? She'll be there in 20 minutes. I smiled and said nothing more. Putting down the phone, suddenly someone came over, and Ching, Lin Ranran took the initiative to bring over a glass of wine. Long time no see. I'll toast you a glass and thank you, Lin Ranran said with a smile. I heard from Akai that if you hadn't been his study partner, he wouldn't have been able to get into a 211 university. I can't say thank you, we just helped each other. No matter what, you have contributed to Kai's current success. I'll toast to you on his behalf. As he said this, he was about to pour beer into my glass. I don't drink, I refused. Just drink a little. She poured me a glass of wine despite my objections, and I pushed her away with my hand. Ah, Lin Ranran suddenly screamed. The beer spilled all over her clothes and bag. She quickly took a napkin and kept wiping it, saying, my clothes and bag can't get wet. The other students also knew that the set she was wearing was very valuable, and they all looked at her nervously. Lin Ranran wiped it for a long time, then said to me, and Ching, even if you are jealous of me, you can't do this to me. You damaged my clothes and bag. Can you afford to pay for it? 4. I haven't spoken yet. Song Kai walked over and angrily said, and Ching, you're going too far. I didn't mean to do that, I explained. I really didn't mean it. And it seemed that I didn't push the bottle of wine just now. I just stopped Lin Ranran from pouring the wine, but for some reason, the wine poured out of the beer bottle in her hand and spilled all over her. I just said that Ranran and I are getting married, and you got so upset. Song Kai ridiculed me in public. The students next to him couldn't help but talk about it. Really, I think Ching is a very calm person. She wouldn't be jealous of others, right? Don't judge a person by his appearance. The more some people act as if they don't care, the more they care deep down. I heard that Ching and Song Kai were together before, but they broke up after Song Kai went to college in another city. Now that Ching sees that Song Kai is doing so well, she must be regretting not leaving with Song Kai, right? I am really speechless, but he still patiently explained again, I really didn't mean it just now. And I said I don't drink. But Lin Ranran insisted on pouring me some wine, so the accident happened. I sincerely thank you for accompanying Song Kai to practice the questions, and I hope you can let go of your obsession, Lin Ranran said sincerely. I know you have always been thinking about Song Kai. I was completely stunned. He looked at Lin Ranran in confusion. How did you know that I'm obsessed with Song Kai? Did I say something that made you misunderstand? Or was there something wrong with my expression or eyes today? And Ching, stop pretending, Lin Ranran said firmly. Song Kai is doing so well now. It's impossible for you not to feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry. I spoke each word clearly. I chose my own path. I am very satisfied with my current life. Song Kai sneered and didn't believe it at all. I don't want to explain either. There is nothing to explain. They are just unrelated people. Today's meeting was just an accident. If I had known Song Kai would come, I might have avoided him. It's not that there is something that I can't let go of, but there is no need to meet people from the previous life again. People from the previous life should stay in the past. I'll compensate you for the clothes and bags. I didn't want to waste any more time talking to them, so I said, send me the price and your bank account number, and I'll transfer the money to you. Compensation? Song Kai asked directly. Do you know how much Ranran's clothes and bag cost? The clothes cost 150,000, the bag cost 300,000, not including the accessories. The cheapest price is 450,000. What are you going to use to compensate? I took a deep breath. I told myself not to be angry about Song Kai's contempt for others. The doctor said pregnant women should maintain a good mood. I'm not such a petty person. Just apologize to Ranran and let it go, Song Kai said magnanimously. You can't just apologize. Lin Ranran quickly added, you have to promise in front of all your classmates that you won't have any improper thoughts about Song Kai in the future. 5. Oh, I laughed. I was so angry that I laughed. Looking at Lin Ranran's arrogant look, I picked up the half-spilled wine bottle next to me. The doctor said that pregnant women should not get angry, but they should not hold their breath either. Then, I slowly poured the half bottle of wine onto Lin Ranran's clothes and bag. Lin Ranran was frightened. She looked at me in disbelief. And after a long while she said, and Ching, are you crazy? What are you doing? At the same time, Song Kai also protected Lin Ranran behind him and pushed me. Fortunately, the squad leader behind me quickly protected me and stood in front of me. Fearing that Song Kai would impulsively do something unmanageable, he advised, Song Kai, don't get excited, and Ching. I gave you face, didn't I? Song Kai said fiercely, how dare you treat Lin Ranran like this? Who do you think you are? I don't need you to give me face, and I don't think of myself as anyone else. I am just myself, I said coldly. He added, since I agreed to pay the compensation, the clothes and bag she was wearing are mine. How I ruined them is my business. Is it your business? Can you afford the compensation? Song Kai asked me harshly. Give me the bank account number. I said word by word, are you going to lose everything just because of a fight? And Ching, you should have curbed your stubborn temper a long time ago. Otherwise we wouldn't be like this today. Give me your bank account number, I repeated, my voice a little louder. Don't regret it, Song Kai threatened. Akai, stop talking nonsense to her. Lin Ranran yelled at him. She was about to explode with anger, since she doesn't appreciate it. Then give her the account number and see if she can afford to pay so much money. Song Kai did not hesitate any longer and said a string of numbers. I entered my bank account number and transferred the money directly. But the system reminded me that the password was wrong. I remember this as the password. After thinking for a while, he entered another password. Still prompts an error. I pursed my lips. Is it true that pregnancy makes people stupid for 3 years? Suddenly I can't remember it. Song Kai and Lin Ranran were waiting on the side, and my classmates were looking at me, watching such a great show. See, I haven't turned out yet. Lin Ranran laughed first, and Ching, weren't you quite arrogant just now? Where's the money? Why didn't I see any extra money in Akai's account? At this moment, Song Kai was also holding his mobile phone in his hand, but there was no notification of the money arriving. I forgot my password. I explained, I'm afraid if I make another mistake, my account will be locked. What a good excuse. Lin Ranran was extremely sarcastic. Song Kai smiled contemptuously. The classmates around me were also whispering. I thought Ching really had to pay compensation. I felt so bad for her. Who is so stupid? 450,000 is half a house. Originally, Song Kai and Lin Ranran didn't care, but Ching insisted on doing it herself. You've been slapped in the face now, haven't you? You're embarrassed now, aren't you? Lin Ranran asked me coldly. So, are you going to write an IOU? How long will it take to pay it back? 1 year, 2 years, or a lifetime? 10 minutes, I said bluntly. In 10 minutes, Lu Yan finally arrived. Don't pretend, and Qing, you can't afford to pay me back. Lin Ranran didn't want to waste time with me. You could have just apologized verbally, but now you have to kneel down and beg me. Everybody is laughing at me. Fortunately, the next moment, the door was suddenly pushed open, accompanied by a familiar voice. Sorry, I'm late. 6. Lu Yan walked in. Everyone looked over there. He apologized. The plane was delayed. I'm late. Having said that, he walked straight to my side. He looked at the scene in front of him and noticed something strange. What's wrong? It's just a small misunderstanding. The class monitor quickly tried to smooth things over, and said to Lin Ranran and Song Kai, we are all classmates. There is no need to make things so awkward. Can you give me some face, squad leader? It's not that we don't give you face. It's Qing who doesn't know what's good for her, Lin Ranran said arrogantly. I didn't bother with her at first, but she insisted on pouring wine on me. No matter how much I don't care, she still has to give me an explanation. Right, really? Lu Yan turned his head and looked at me, with a smile on his face. You poured wine on someone, Lu Yan. I heard that you had a crush on Qing when you were in school. I don't want to discredit her in front of you, but she is really too much. Just because she was jealous of me and Song Kai being together, she deliberately picked a fight with me and even soiled my clothes and bag. You come from a well-off family, so you should recognize the brand on me, right? Are you jealous of Lin Ranran? Lu Yan asked me with a frown. What do you think? I asked him back. There's nothing to be jealous of. Lu Yan said to himself. Lin Ranran was a little unhappy. Lu Yan, is it possible that after so many years, you still like Qing? Yes, it has never changed, Lu Yan admitted generously. The other students were very surprised. They don't know that Lu Yan and I are married. In fact, Lu Yan has been pursuing me for many years, but I have never agreed. I don't want to go through a marriage like the one with Song Kai again. Neither of us made any principled mistakes, but it was just suffocating. Later, I gradually discovered that Lu Yan and Song Kai were actually different. There is no need for me to live in the past, always look forward. Plus, my parents started urging me to fall in love and get married, so she agreed to date Lu Kai, and they got their marriage certificate this year. Because I found out I was pregnant shortly after getting the marriage certificate, we postponed the wedding and didn't have time to inform anyone. It's because of her that I came to the class reunion today, Lu Yan said frankly, and then turned around and asked me, so what's the situation now? I forgot my bank card password. Can you transfer 450,000 yuan to Song Kai's bank card as compensation to Lin Ranran? I replied, give me the card number. Lu Yan took out his cell phone. Lin Ranran was stunned. Song Kai's expression also became visibly ugly. Lu Yan, this is between us and Qing. You'd better not interfere. Qing, you're going too far. You soiled my clothes and asked Lu Yan to pay for it. Do you really think Lu Yan is a sucker? You treat people like this just because they like you, Lin Ranran said unconvinced. They all knew that Lu Yan came from a well-off family. When we were in high school, he picked us up in a Mercedes-Benz. 7. I am happy to do so, Lu Yan said with great pride. I am willing to be needed by her. Lin Ranran was so angry that she couldn't speak. She was going to embarrass me. As for why she dislikes me so much, I don't know. No matter what happened between Song Kai and I happened 800 years ago, so there's no need to worry about it. Is this the card number? Lu Yan entered the bank card number and asked Song Kai to confirm. Song Kai took a look, said nothing with a cold face. Lu Yan did not delay and transferred the money. Song Kai received a text message reminder of the arrival of his account. Lin Ranran turned her head to take a look and said in disbelief, Lu Yan, you really helped Qing pay 450,000. What else? Lu Yan said impatiently. Now that I've compensated you, can you go back to your own position? Lin Ranran gritted her teeth. She glanced at Song Kai. Song Kai said nothing and walked away with a gloomy face. Lin Ranran hurriedly followed Song Kai back to their original position. Song Kai picked up the remaining cigar in front of him and started smoking again. The squad leader was inviting everyone to eat and drink. Lu Yan sat next to me, watching Song Kai smoking, frowning. Sorry Song Kai, my wife is pregnant. Please don't smoke indoors. Song Kai was stunned for a moment. I didn't react to Lu Yan's words for a moment. Lin Ranran was also very surprised and asked quickly, "Your wife? Who is your wife?" "Isn't it obvious?" Lu Yan chuckled. He took me in his arms and introduced me openly. "We just got the marriage certificate and haven't held the wedding banquet yet, so we haven't had time to inform everyone, but because Enqing got pregnant unexpectedly, the wedding will be postponed." "Are you married to Enqing?" Lin Ranran's voice became shrill. "Is there a problem?" Lu Yan asked Lin Ranran. Lin Ranran was instantly embarrassed, blushed, and felt ashamed. She just said arrogantly that I was jealous of her and Song Kai being together, and scolded me for being poor. But as everyone knows, Lu Yan was a top student in school during his student days. In addition to his good family background, his academic performance was also among the best in the school. After graduating from university, he started his own business. His current business achievements are no worse than Song Kai, and are even slightly better. It's just that the two people developed in different cities. There is no intersection, but both of them must have heard about each other's achievements among their classmates. That's why Lin Ranran is so ashamed at this moment. The eyes of the classmates around her when they looked at Lin Ranran also changed. Suddenly I felt that she was a bit contemptuous. Of course, I never thought about showing off my relationship with Lu Yan. When I was with him, what I valued was never his money, identity, or status, but the fact that we shared the same ideals. After living my life again, I now deeply understand how important it is for two people to have the same values. Otherwise, no matter how beautiful the love is, it will eventually be buried in the grave of marriage. After announcing my relationship with Lu Yan, all my classmates actively and proactively toasted us. Lu Yan defended himself and said, "My wife can't drink alcohol, she can only drink milk." "I understand. We won't be like some people who take advantage of their wealth to bully others," a classmate said ambiguously. For a time, the public opinion among classmates changed completely. Lin Ranran's face looked extremely ugly. She looked at Song Kai with a face full of grievance, hoping that Song Kai could speak for her, but Song Kai's eyes were not on her at all. Instead, he looked straight at me. I didn't want to respond to him, but I felt a little uncomfortable with Song Kai's gaze. So I turned to look over. 8. Song Kai's eyes were a little red, like very angry. "I don't know what he is angry about. Isn't it the best arrangement for everyone to be well now?" Lu Yan seemed to have noticed Song Kai's look. He chuckled and said, "Mr. Song, are you dissatisfied with my marriage to Enqing?" Song Kai withdrew his gaze, crushed the cigar fiercely, drank his wine by himself, and said nothing. Lu Yan didn't waste time on him. He hugged me and gathered with his classmates. "Everybody is congratulating us. It is said that after all these years, Lu Yan finally saw the moon through the clouds. They say Lu Yan and I are a match made in heaven." The class reunion was very lively and was not affected by the unpleasant incident just now. In fact, the atmosphere was even better because of Lu Yan's arrival. Everyone also focused their attention on Lu Yan and me, and Song Kai and Lin Ranran, who were originally popular, were ignored. The two of them also became unexpectedly low-key. Even before the class reunion was over, Song Kai slammed the door and left. Lin Ranran hurriedly followed Song Kai and left. "What's that sudden look on his face?" A classmate looked at Song Kai speechlessly as he left. Another classmate echoed, "He thinks he can look down on others just because he has been in a big city for a few years. We are just giving him some face and support because we are classmates. Does he really think he is so great?" I really don't envy Song Kai. He is doing well in the big city, but there is no need for him to act so superior in front of his classmates, as if we are inferior to him. That's right, everyone has their own way of life to choose, and no one is nobler than anyone else. The classmates were somewhat dissatisfied with Song Kai's attitude today. "I'm used to it." Song Kai looks down on people from small cities from the bottom of his heart. I believe that people from small cities have never seen the world and are not on the same level. After the class reunion, Lu Yan and I sat in the car. Lu Yan drank some wine and was a little drunk. He said sourly, "It seems Song Kai hasn't forgotten you yet." Impossible, I was sure. He just couldn't bear to see me living a good life. In his opinion, if I stayed in a small city, I would waste my time and regret it for the rest of my life, but I didn't expect that I would actually settle down here. He finally realized that I was not angry with him after so many years of separation. Lu Yan didn't say anything more. He just held me tightly in his arms and whispered in my ear, "I should thank him for abandoning you back then." It's hard to say who abandoned whom. I always felt that this was a choice made by both of us, so I never hated Song Kai at all. If he hadn't suddenly appeared in front of me, I would have probably really forgotten him. 9. However, the next day, I received a call from Song Kai, who said, "And Ching, let's meet." I refused directly. "What else is there for us to meet? I'll be waiting for you at Iceland Coffee." After saying that, Song Kai hung up the phone. He seemed certain that I would go. Just like in my previous life, he can accurately grasp my personality. No matter who is right or wrong in our dispute, the final result will definitely be what Song Kai wants. Otherwise, in my previous life, Song Kai wouldn't have asked me to live with him in another place for 10 years. This time, I did as he wished and went. There will also be a little curiosity. What on earth does he want to do? By the way, let me make it clear, we will never have any contact with each other again from now on. I walked into the cafe. The moment Song Kai saw me, I saw a smile of success in his eyes. In his mind, I am so easy to control. I sat down in front of him and asked straight to the point. "What's the matter, cappuccino or mocha?" Song Kai asked me. "Boiled water." I said bluntly. "I'm pregnant, so I can't drink coffee." I saw Song Kai's expression change slightly, but in the end, nothing was said. He asked the waiter to give me a glass of boiled water. He said, "And Ching, I didn't expect you to be with Lu Yen. When you were in school, didn't you say you didn't like him?" "People change," I said coldly. "Didn't you reject Lin Ranran's confession back then? Aren't you still with her now?" "It's because," Song Kai didn't say the words that were on the tip of his tongue, "I wasn't interested either, so I just said, in marriage, only you know the ups and downs, whether it's right for you or not, only you know it." "What do you mean? Are you saying that our marriage in the previous life was inappropriate?" Song Kai was a little angry. "Why else?" I admitted. "Why else would we go our separate ways? I'm just teaching you a lesson." Song Kai said angrily, "I'm just making you understand that your obsession in your previous life was wrong. Once you regret it, come to me and we can reconcile." I just looked at Song Kai, didn't laugh either, not angry either. I just feel helpless. I asked Song Kai in confusion, "Why do you feel so superior?" "Because everything I did was right," Song Kai said firmly. "My choice was right. Look at the students around me. How many of those who stayed in the local area have achieved great success? Yes, Lu Yen has done well, but it's because of his family background. Without the help of his family, Lu Yen would still be useless. Only I, relying on my own hands, have made a name for myself in this international metropolis." Song Kai became more and more excited as he spoke. I drank boiled water and didn't interrupt him. It was not until he saw that I had remained silent that he angrily asked, "Why don't you speak? Everything you said is right. What can I say help you and Ching? There's no need to be so sarcastic. Is it so difficult to admit that others are excellent?" 10. "Yes, you are indeed excellent," I affirmed. "It is not easy to survive on your own in a strange city, let alone Song Kai is doing so well." I saw an uncontrollable smile of satisfaction on Song Kai's face. I continued, "I have never thought that your ambition is wrong. I have never denied your achievements. Looking at the development of the world, it really needs positive people like you to create greater value for society. But Song Kai, your choice is right. Does that mean others' choices are necessarily wrong? What qualifications do you have to judge or even ridicule other people's lives? You have broadened your horizons in the big city, given yourself a better life, and made greater contributions to society. This is your responsibility to society, but where is your responsibility towards your family? Have you ever thought about your parents? Don't they want you to stay with them? Yes, the money you give them is enough for their retirement, but when people reach a certain age, they really feel that some things are more important than money." I didn't finish my sentence. Song Kai couldn't listen anymore. He said, "And Ching, I don't want to listen to your lectures." Yes, there's no way he would listen to my ideas. In his mind, no one can change what he has determined. That's why I realize so deeply how important it is for two people to have the same values. I won't say any more. The two were silent for a while. Song Kai suddenly said, "And Ching, I won't beat around the bush. I came to you today to ask you if you are willing to go back with me." I was stunned for a moment, thinking I had heard it wrong. Song Kai looked at me and sighed. "Yes, just consider it as me giving in to you. Come back with me now. And we will pretend that the past 10 years have never happened. The only condition is that you abort the baby in your belly." I was silent for a long time before I digested what Song Kai said. I thought Song Kai asked me to meet him today just to show off how well he was doing and how much I'd lost by leaving him. I came to see him today to tell him that I am living a good life now and have never regretted it for a second. I never thought that he would ask for peace. The two people have long been people from two different worlds. Are you two happy? Song Kai saw that I didn't say anything and asked me with raised eyebrows. Song Kai, are you crazy? I finally couldn't help it and raised my voice a little louder. Song Kai looked extremely ugly. I'm married now, pregnant, and have a very stable and happy family, and you already have a fiancé and have established yourself in the big city. And now you ask me to be with you. I was really speechless. Is it that I can't admit your excellence, or that you can't stand seeing me do well? Song Kai was embarrassed by what I said. He retorted, and Ching, I know you have been angry with me for the past 10 years. Isn't it because I didn't fulfill your wish to go back to your hometown? Okay, I promise you, when I go back and take care of the work, I will accompany you back to your hometown and stay with your parents. I looked at Song Kai in silence. Song Kai thought I was thinking, and said generously, I know it's difficult for you to make a decision right now. I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. Just give me your reply before the day after tomorrow. No need to wait until the day after tomorrow. I will answer you now. 11. Song Kai looked at me, somewhat surprised. He said, have you thought about it? No need to think about it, Song Kai. I have my own life now. What happened between us is long gone. The moment we were reborn, we made the choice. I don't need you to wrong yourself. Give up your big city, and give up your pursuit of life, and Ching, you'd better think it over carefully. I won't lower myself to seek peace with you like I did today next time. If your purpose today is just for the whole, then there is no need for us to waste any more time. I stood up directly. Goodbye. Never see you again. And Ching, Song Kai grabbed me. There was a flash of panic in his eyes. I've done this much. What else are you dissatisfied with? Song Kai asked me harshly. What have you done? Just one sentence from you has brought us back together after 10 years of separation. Why, Song Kai? So what do you want from me? Song Kai gritted his teeth and said, I'll try my best to satisfy you. I don't need anything. I just want you to stay away from me. And Ching, enough of your temper. Just think of it as me being naughty. I couldn't explain it to him clearly, and I didn't care what he was thinking. I will continue to be naughty in the future, so Mr. Song, don't waste your time on me. And Ching, what do you want? Song Kai was a little upset. Do you want me to kneel down and beg you? Admit that I still like you. Admit that you are the only one I want in my life. I looked at Song Kai. What he said today overturned my perception of him, seeing me suddenly fall silent. Song Kai softened his tone a lot. Let's just treat these 10 years as a dream, and let's start over. I chose to leave because I was angry with you, not because I didn't love you anymore. How can you be angry? I laughed sarcastically. You just walked the path you wanted to walk, and finally found that you were not so happy, so you wanted to go back and start over. Song Kai was very excited, as if he was angry out of shame. He said, when did I regret it? Do I need to regret my current achievements? I said a word and Lin Ranran wanted to give birth to a child for me immediately. What you think is really not important to me at all, I said calmly. From the moment you followed Lin Ranran to go to study abroad, there is no relationship between us anymore. And Ching, stop pretending. You just can't accept that I left you. You just can't let go of your pride and reconcile with me. But I'm giving you a way out now. I really can't accept that you left with Lin Ranran without hesitation. I admit that I felt lost after my rebirth. I didn't expect Song Kai to make up his mind so quickly and do it so decisively. I thought that after so many years of our relationship, he would be somewhat hesitant, but not at all. During that time I felt like a joke. It was from that moment that I let go of all my obsession with you. I looked at Song Kai. If you hadn't suddenly appeared in front of me now, I wouldn't even remember you. And Ching, I don't care whether you believe it or not. This is what I really think. I hope you will never appear in front of me again and disturb my happy, fulfilling and desirable life. I shook off Song Kai's hand fiercely and walked away without looking back. 12. I thought that since I had talked so much and had such an unpleasant experience with Song Kai, our relationship was completely over. There will never be any intersection again, even if we meet by chance. We will just be strangers. But I didn't expect that half a month later, I received another message from Song Kai. And Ching, I'm back and I'm never leaving again. I was totally stunned. I clearly recognize all the words above, but now I suddenly can't understand their meaning. Can we meet once? I turned off my phone immediately, just treat it as an illusion. But when I got off work, I saw Song Kai standing at the company gate waiting for me. After I became pregnant, Lu Yan actually suggested that I stop working, but I felt that it would be more boring to be alone at home, and it would also make me more prone to prenatal depression, so I insisted on going to work. And Ching, Song Kai walked up to me holding a large bouquet of flowers. I'm really a little disgusted. Wasn't what I said clear enough? I asked him. Didn't you want me to let you come back to me just because of one word from me? Now I have taken care of all my business outside the city. And I will come back here to develop with peace of mind in the future. I will never leave again, Song Kai promised. Do you really think that things have turned out like this between us just because I want to go back home and you want to stay away? Otherwise, how could we drift apart when we love each other so much? We drifted apart because we both made our own choices, because we both gave up on each other. I haven't given up on you. Song Kai was very excited. I know you are living a good life now. Lu Yan treats you very well. He is willing to stay with you in the city you like. He can give you excellent living conditions. But I can give you all these now. You know I'm doing fine. Why are you still bothering me? Because the one you really like in your heart is me, Song Kai said firmly. You only chose to be with Lu Yan because of my departure. Now that I'm back, you shouldn't go against your heart. I didn't laugh at Song Kai's self-righteousness. After all, I really loved him back then, which gave him the confidence to say those words. Song Kai, do you know that love will lead to disappointment and disappear? I looked at Song Kai. Song Kai's eyes were red. He probably didn't expect that I would really be so indifferent to him. He was so indifferent that he really couldn't feel any emotion from me. In my last life, I accompanied you to another place for development. You promised me that you would come home, but in the end you said you would never come back. I have never questioned your pursuit of your career, and you have indeed succeeded. I am angry because you should not have lied to me. From the moment you asked me to accompany you to another place, you never thought about coming back, right? Song Kai made excuses for himself. I was afraid that you wouldn't go with me. I really love you and I'm afraid of losing you. After your rebirth, you followed Lin Ranran to another place without a second thought. Didn't you ever think about losing me? Song Kai was speechless. He said painfully, I thought you loved me enough and would always wait for me. I didn't expect you would really be with another man. Because I'm with other men, you can't accept it, so you come back to me, right? 13, and Ching, I really like you. Lin Ranran and I are just together for a short period of time. The person I love from the beginning to the end is you, Song Kai said affectionately. The more I listened, the more disgusted I felt. You don't like Lin Ranran, but you wasted 10 years of someone else's youth. You said you like me, but you insisted that I submit to you. Now you find that everything is out of your control. You start to panic and regret. Don't you think your behavior is dirty? I'm sorry. Song Kai suddenly apologized. He didn't seem to know how to defend himself. I'm sorry, and Ching, can you forgive me this time? I will never let you down again. Song Kai took out the ring from his arms. It was the wedding ring he said he would give to Lin Ranran. He said, and Ching, do you still remember this ring? We didn't buy it when we got married because we didn't have enough money, but I promised you that I would give it to you. I came back this time because I wanted to get back together with you. I bought this ring especially for you. Do you know why Lin Ranran targeted you at the class reunion? Because she knew that I wanted to get back together with you. I laughed when I heard it. It turned out that at the class reunion, he wanted to get back together with me, but the way he got back together was not to be nice to me proactively, but to intimidate me. Let me go back and beg him with a smug face. I didn't want to say more, but looking at the ring, I couldn't help but say, I remember in my last life. You didn't give me any money even though you had it. I was too busy in my previous life. No, it's only after you lose something that you realize you should cherish it, even if it's my fault. It's all my fault. And Ching, can you give me another chance? Marry me and we'll start over. This time, I'll give you everything you want. Speaking of, Song Kai knelt down and proposed to me at the company gate. Maybe I loved him too much in my previous life, which is why he was so confident that as long as he came back, we would be back to normal. I shook my head and rejected it coldly. There is no chance. And Ching, I really gave up the development of the big city for you. That's your choice. It has nothing to do with me. I interrupted him, and I've said it before, the city is not the main reason for our separation. It's your actions time and time again that make me feel disappointed. I'll change it. You won't change. Everything you do has a purpose. I didn't need to show him mercy. You know I loved you very much, so you can use my feelings to deceive me unscrupulously. You know that even if I find out in the end, I will forgive you. You bought the ring not because I liked it, but because you wanted to keep me in this way, because you found that I really don't care about you anymore. You chose to stay now, not for me, but because your parents are old. And your mother suddenly fell ill. They need you to come back and stay with them to take care of them, but Lin Ranran will not stay here with you. so you thought of me, I said it calmly, even laughed, because I realized that I really didn't care at all. Even though he knew that Song Kai's motives were all impure, he would not have any emotional fluctuations. I watched Lu Yen walk towards me from a distance. I know he is waiting for me. He respects all my decisions. He also has enough confidence. Because of how good he is to me, Song Kai can never compare to him. 14. Wife, can we go now? Lu Yen asked me while hugging my body. I nodded. He didn't even look at Song Kai anymore. We turned and left. I made up my mind to stay, really because of you, not Lin Ranran, nor my parents, Song Kai said loudly behind us. I stopped and said, even without these so-called purposes, I can't be with you again, Song Kai. I don't love you anymore. I just don't love you anymore, really. I can't remember any of the good times I had with Song Kai. The happiness I see now is within my sight. They were all given by Lu Yen. After that, I never gave Song Kai any chance to get close to me. I blocked his mobile number and never answered any calls from unknown numbers. I submitted my resignation. Originally, Lu Yen felt sorry for me working outside and said that he could support me. He was really worried that I would be bored at home so I could go to his company. I refused before because I didn't want to become too dependent on him. Now, I deeply feel that we are a family. A few months later, I gave birth to a daughter. Half a year later, Lu Yen and I had a grand wedding. Many old classmates were invited, of course not Song Kai. When Lu Yen and I went to toast at our classmates' table, we heard a classmate say, Song Kai hasn't been out of town for more than a year. I heard that he and Lin Ranran broke up. Song Kai's mother passed away a few days ago. Another classmate said, fortunately, Song Kai stayed at home with her for more than a year, otherwise how could I feel at ease? I went to the funeral a few days ago. Song Kai looked very different. He was not as radiant as he was at our class reunion last year. He looked lifeless. It is said that when his mother died, her biggest regret was that she did not have a grandson. Could it be that Song Kai has been obsessed with Lin Ranran? No, a female classmate whispered. Lin Ranran was willing to stay in her hometown for Song Kai, and took the initiative to ask Song Kai for peace, but was rejected by Song Kai. Lin Ranran said that Song Kai could not forget. She glanced at me and didn't finish her words. I know it's not appropriate to say such things in this situation. I pretended not to hear anything and calmly drank my wedding wine and greeted the guests. After the wedding, Lu Yen and I returned home tired. I was too tired to move. Lu Yen is sorting out the gifts we received. Then he suddenly called me, and Qing, there is a private red envelope for you. Lu Yen gave it to me. I saw the name Song Kai on the red envelope. I didn't see him today. I looked at Lu Yen. Lu Yen smiled and said, I didn't see it either. I opened the red envelope and saw a ring inside. There was also a letter and a gift worth about 888 yuan. I opened the letter. 15, and Qing, happy wedding. I know you didn't want to see me. But I couldn't help but come to your wedding. I shouldn't have let you find out. I just want to come and see you, to see if you are really happy. Then I'll probably give up. I'll probably really face reality. You really don't love me anymore, not in love at all. I still arrogantly thought that as long as I looked back, you would be waiting for me there. You are absolutely right. When I was reborn, I left not just to be angry with you. I always thought that without you, I could be happy with anyone else. And I could still live a good life. In the past few years, I have indeed enjoyed unprecedented freedom. I don't have to consider your mood. I don't have to be forced to eat breakfast by you. I won't be scolded by you for coming back drunk from social events. And I don't have to be nagging by you to go back to my hometown every day. But suddenly one day, I began to miss you. I miss the meals you cooked. I miss you sitting in the living room waiting for me no matter how late I get home from social events. I miss you holding me tightly in your arms. I've thought about you for a long time, but I never came to see you. I stubbornly believe that you should be the one to give in between us, because your choice is wrong, until I finally couldn't bear it anymore. I want to be with you so much that I even often call Lin Ranran by your name, so I came back and attended the class reunion. When I saw you dressed simply, I naively thought I won. You are having such a hard time. If I ask you to come back to me now, you will definitely not refuse, but reality slapped me hard in the face. The way you look at me, there's no love in it. I thought I could use money to suppress you, but I didn't expect that you married Lu Yen and you were pregnant. Not only do you have enough money, you also have enough love. I started to panic. I didn't know what to do to get you back to me. I always told myself that you chose Lu Yen only because you were angry with me. The person you love is me. You loved me so much in my previous life. it's impossible for you to just stop loving me, so I came to you shamelessly. I think I have a chance of winning. I can give you everything that Lu Yan can give you, and you love me more, and you will be moved by me. Now that I think about it, I was really just bringing shame upon myself. Why should I abandon you and still feel justified in thinking that you will wait for me here forever? I'm really selfish and dark. He hugged Lin Ran, looked me up and down with a frivolous look in his eyes, and a hint of disdain flashed in his eyes. Man, will I know that no matter what I say, it's useless. I'm just really sad, and Ching, my heart hurts so much. I went to the hospital to see you on the day you gave birth. I saw Lu Yan holding your child, and I saw the joy of being a father for the first time on his face. I thought of the unborn child we had in our previous life. I was really looking forward to his coming, and I was ready to be a father. But again, I missed it. Sorry, Anqing. Sorry, I wish you happiness forever. I looked at the letter helplessly, with mixed feelings. Song Kai's current mood is probably the same as how I felt when I saw Song Kai leave without looking back when I was just reborn. Even though I always tell myself to respect the other person's choice, but when the night is quiet, I will still break down, feel unwilling, feel pain, and feel unbearable. But now, it's all over. I don't know how long it will take Song Kai to get over it. Really, it doesn't matter anymore. I threw the letter into the trash. I didn't see the words on the back of the envelope, and Ching, I will be waiting for you outside your wedding room tonight. Lu Yan watched my actions and smiled at me from the side. He said, wife, a night of love is worth 1,000 gold. We turned out the lights, the long night, no longer alone. Story 2, after a car accident, I was sent back to my high school days. As soon as I returned, I saw my elder brother leading a group of wealthy young men bullying Gu Jin. My elder brother threw Gu Jin's textbooks into the lake, grabbed his collar, and laughed arrogantly. Come on, make a dog's bark and let us hear it. Who would have thought that this penniless young man in front of us would later become a business tycoon, drive my family into bankruptcy, and force me to be his canary, having a second chance at life? I must stop my elder brother from courting disaster and, at the same time, try my best to please the vengeful Mr. Gu. 01. I was reborn, and when I woke up, I saw my elder brother bullying Gu Jin. My elder brother, Zhang Baichen, is a young master from a wealthy family. He bullies others by relying on his family's power and is really not a good person. Zhang Baichen threw Gu Jin's textbooks into the lake, grabbed his collar, and asked him to bark like a dog. The surrounding classmates let out harsh laughter, while Gu Jin endured it without saying a word, until Zhang Baichen sneered evilly. Gu Jin, I heard that your mother is a foolish woman who picks up trash. I don't know which man bullied her and made her give birth to you. You're a dirty and disgusting bastard. Just being around you makes me feel cheap. Suddenly, Gu Jin was like a rabid wild dog, his eyes bloodshot, and he punched my elder brother in the face. My elder brother had practiced fighting hard and had never lost a fight before, yet, he was caught off guard by Gu Jin's punch. Gu Jin fought without any rules, relying solely on his ferocity. When he went crazy, he didn't care about his own life. This scared my elder brother's lackeys so much that they didn't dare to step forward. Soon, my elder brother was at a disadvantage. I had just been reborn and was still digesting the scene in front of me. Like someone waking up from a dream, I rushed forward and hugged Gu Jin's arm. Stop fighting. In my memory, Gu Jin often worked out, and his arms were stronger than those of an ordinary teenager. Every time the man came to the villa to see me, I couldn't get any sleep. Even crying and begging for mercy didn't help. It would only make him angrier. Those memories were deeply ingrained in my bones. When our eyes met, I instinctively feared him. Gu Jin's body visibly stiffened. The ferocity on his face hadn't faded away, but he finally stopped. His gaze shifted to my arm, and his black eyes trembled slightly. There were several scars across my white arm, which were whipped by my father with a belt. Why was I beaten? I remembered. It was because Gu Jin got the first place in the exam, and I dropped to the second place. My father punished me for that. My father, Zhang Jianming, advocated elite education and had very strict requirements for my elder brother and me. He didn't allow me to lose to a poor boy. My elder brother thus hated Gu Jin and took the lead in bullying him. In my previous life, although I had dissuaded my elder brother from doing this, I was also somewhat resentful and unwilling. In the end, I didn't intervene in this matter. So when Gu Jin took his revenge later, I was also punished and became a little thing for him to relieve his desires. I pulled down my sleeve to cover the scars. Gu Jin silently jumped into the water to fish out the textbooks. On the other side, a group of people were fawning over Zhang Baichen. Zhang Baichen covered his nose that was bleeding nonstop, burning with anger. He wanted to fight again. I stopped him, feeling both distressed and angry. Brother. Stop here. I can't stop. I will definitely find a chance to teach him a good lesson next time. Zhang Baichen spat out a mouthful of blood foam and walked towards the infirmary surrounded by his followers. I was about to follow him to the infirmary. When I looked back, I saw Gu Jin climbing onto the shore. There were injuries on his face, and the textbooks in his hand were already soaked and damaged. He clenched his fists. The blue veins on his arms were clearly visible. And water was dripping from his body. Well, he was a proper beautiful young man with battle injuries. Why should I accompany this annoying brother? The most important thing now is to quench the little spark of hatred in Gu Jin's heart. 02. I sneaked behind Gu Jin to confirm his home address. And then I ran to the pharmacy to buy medicine for treating wounds and band-aids. I knocked on his door tremblingly. It was an aunt who opened the door. When the aunt saw me, she smiled and pulled me into the house. Come and have some dumplings. Gu Jin's home was an old, shabby, and small house. The furnishings were simple, but it was very tidy. Gu Jin heard the commotion and came out of the bathroom. He was only wearing a pair of jeans and no shirt. The young man had a tall and slender figure. Due to working all year round, there was a layer of beautiful muscles on his body. He was thin but not weak. What are you doing here? This is for you. I pointed at his face. You need to deal with the wound. No need, you're not welcome here. Gu Jin grabbed the back of my collar and lifted me out. The aunt grabbed my arm and said stubbornly, have some dumplings. My arm hurt from being grabbed by the aunt. Gu Jin immediately let go of me, looking a bit irritated. My mother, if you don't mind, stay for dinner. Otherwise, she'll make a fuss for a long time. I happily agreed, and the aunt went to the kitchen to serve the dumplings. Gu Jin put on his clothes, and the three of us sat together for the meal. Many of the dumplings in the bowl were broken during cooking. The chives, eggs, and flour were mixed together. They didn't look good and were a bit salty. I had lived a life of luxury since I was a child. Even when my family went bankrupt later and I was forced to be with Gu Jin, he had never treated me badly in terms of material things. Such unpalatable dumplings were really hard for me to swallow. However, Gu Jin ate them with great relish. The aunt stroked his head. Her innocent face was full of kindness. Happy birthday, Xiao Jin. Grow up well and be obedient. The coldness in Gu Jin's eyes dissipated. Looking at his mother, his eyes were very gentle. I looked at him and couldn't help but smile. If you can't get used to it, give it to me. You don't have to force yourself. My mother's mind is a bit confused. And she doesn't cook very well. I can eat it. I ate a small half bowl. I really couldn't eat any more, so I quietly pushed the bowl over. He accepted it all and finished it in 2 or 3 bites. Gu Jin seemed quite easy to get along with at this moment. Taking the opportunity, I said, my elder brother was too excessive today. I apologize to you on his behalf. Gu Jin's face immediately turned cold. He is him. And you are you. It has nothing to do with you, so. Gu Jin is a person who clearly distinguishes between grudges and kindness. He won't take his anger out on me because of my elder brother. Then, later, what exactly did my elder brother do that was so excessive that it made Gu Jin hate the Zhang family so much? It made Gu Jin lie low for many years. It wasn't enough to drive my family bankrupt. He also made my father and elder brother get involved in lawsuits, burdened with heavy debts, and with nowhere to make a living. And I was also forcefully possessed by him. Every time I interacted with him, I could feel his overwhelming hatred for the Zhang family. 03. The next day, I got up very early and put the new textbooks in Gu Jin's desk compartment. When I turned around, I bumped into a hard chest. Due to the height difference, I only reached his chest. I was startled and leaned backward. The young man put his arm around my waist. You got the first place in the exam and still come so early. You're really competitive. I pushed him away in a panic. I'll go and do some practice questions right away. I definitely won't lose to you next time. Gu Jin grabbed the back of my collar and glanced at the textbooks. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. I left quickly with an awkward gait, touching my hot cheeks. Why was I blushing? He's just a young lad who hasn't grown up yet. I lay on the desk. It wasn't because of shyness that I blushed. I had a fever. Zhang Baichen is going to mess with Gu Jin again. He tricked Gu Jin's foolish mother into coming to the school to collect the garbage. What does Gu Jin's foolish mother look like? Let's go and take a look. I ran out. There were a lot of people gathered beside the school store. Zhang Baichen threw a soda bottle at the aunt's feet. Trash picker. Pick it up. The aunt hunched over with a look of fear on her face. She was very scared and made a whimpering sound. When I arrived, I smelled the stench of urine. Ha ha ha, Brother Chen. You scared her so much that she peed her pants. What bad luck. Zhang Baichen threw another soda bottle at the aunt's feet, and the glass shattered everywhere. Brother, stop. I rushed to the aunt's side. She was still leaking urine. A group of people surrounded us, watching the scene. I took off my coat, tied it around her waist, and took her hand. Auntie, don't be afraid, I'll take you. Bang, Gu Jin rushed out and kicked Zhang Baichen in the lower back. Zhang Baichen fell onto the broken glass. Gu Jin's kick was so powerful that Zhang Baichen couldn't stand up for a while. He wasn't a cowardly person. He had endured before just for the sake of studying. On the contrary, Gu Jin's character was actually a bit crazy. I remembered once when I went to a cocktail party with him, someone made improper remarks about me. He flew into a rage and broke the person's ribs. At this moment, Gu Jin's eyes were bloodshot. And there was a fierce aura of a desperate man about him. He picked up the broken bottle and walked towards Zhang Baichen. Zhang Baichen was scared. What are you going to do? What are you all standing there for? He's crazy. Hurry up and stop him for me. No one dared to stop a crazy man who didn't care about his own life. Actually, I was also afraid of him, but I had to stop him. I rushed forward and hugged his waist tightly, burying my face in his chest with my eyes closed. Gu Jin, don't. The muscles on his body were tense, and his breathing was heavy. I started crying. Don't do anything stupid. Take your mother home quickly. I stroked his back, trying to soothe his rampaging soul. Pat. Gu Jin finally threw away the glass, and blood dripped from his palm. I watched as he supported his mother and walked away until I couldn't see them anymore. In my previous life, this incident didn't happen today. Brother. Zhang Baichen pushed me away, his eyes sinister. He's finished. My heart skipped a beat. Clearly, I had stopped my elder brother from courting disaster twice. Why did I have an ominous premonition that our fate hadn't changed and was still sliding towards the predetermined ending? 04. I knocked on Gu Jin's door. He was wearing rubber gloves and washing my coat. The aunt was asleep in the room. I grabbed his wrist and took off the gloves. His hand was simply wrapped with gauze. And it was still bleeding. Are you a masochist? Your hand is like this. And you're still washing clothes. I felt dizzy for a moment and fell into his arms, losing consciousness. When I woke up, it was already getting dark. The lights weren't on in the hospital room. Gu Jin was sitting by the bedside, and his rough palm touched my forehead. My head was burning, and I was so dizzy that I thought I was before my rebirth. Gu Jin hated the Zhang family and only regarded me as a plaything, humiliating my father and elder brother by keeping me as his captive. However, every time I was sick, Gu Jin would be particularly gentle with me. He would patiently feed me medicine and food, like a male nanny. Patients are always delicate, so I took the initiative to hug his neck and acted coquettishly. I feel so uncomfortable. Hug me. After a long while, his voice was hoarse. Zhang Yihuan, I'm Gu Jin. Then, I woke up completely. I let go of him, feeling so embarrassed that my toes curled up. I actually mistook the young Gu Jin for Mr. Gu. Gu Jin turned on the light. Thinking about how I had just acted coquettishly in a very soft voice towards a young man I wasn't very familiar with, I really didn't know where to put my face. Gu Jin had no expression on his face, but his ears were so red that they seemed to be bleeding. In my previous life, no matter how intense our arguments were, he rarely showed any expression. The sign to tell whether he was happy or not was whether his ears were red enough. I covered my face. What are you thinking about? Don't think nonsense. Okay, I won't. 05. After my fever subsided, I rested at home for half a day and didn't go to school until the afternoon. As soon as I entered the classroom, my deskmate, Zhao Xiaoxing, gossiped with me that Gu Jin you hate so much was caught stealing the class funds. There were two rumors in her words. First, I don't hate him, I want to please him. Second, Gu Jin wouldn't steal money. I remembered that in my previous life, there was indeed this incident of Gu Jin stealing the class funds. At that time, I went to the teacher's office to hand in my homework. His homeroom teacher slapped the table. Gu Jin, you've really disappointed me. I know your family is poor, but you can't steal money. You have talent but no virtue. You'll be a scourge in society even if you have abilities. The girl beside them, who should be the class life committee member, chimed in. That's right, if you don't have money, you can tell us. We can donate money to help you. You really didn't have to steal. Gu Jin stood straight, his thin lips tightly pursed, with a look of contempt and indifference on his face. I despised him in my heart. what was the use of getting better grades than me? Without good character, he was nothing. Suddenly, Gujin saw me, and his face changed drastically. He strode up to me. It's not like this. I didn't steal. I didn't want to pay attention to him and turned around to leave. Gujin went crazy and grabbed my arm with great strength. The injury on my arm hadn't healed yet, and I struggled. Whether you stole or not has nothing to do with me. Let me go. The teacher came over to pull him away, but he held on tighter and tighter and just wouldn't let go. Gujin fell into a state of paranoia. He stared at me intently, his eyes red. Zhang Huan, what on earth do I have to do for you to believe me? I really didn't steal the money. I didn't understand. Why was Gujin so persistent in wanting me to believe him? I didn't even really know him. I was almost scared to tears and said timidly, I believe you. Let go quickly. It hurts so much where you're holding me. Finally, he let go. In my previous life, the disciplinary action result was that Gujin received a warning for the demerit. 06. Remembering Gujin's almost desperate look at that time, my heart ached. I immediately went to find Gujin and met my annoying brother in the corridor. Zhang Baichen had his arm around a girl, who was the class life committee member of Gujin's class. Huan, this is your new sister-in-law. After Zhang Baichen left, I smiled at the girl. Tell me quickly, how did you help my brother mess with Gujin? The girl wanted to curry favor with me and said proudly, I put the class funds in his desk compartment, and then I pretended that the class funds were missing. We searched the desk compartments one by one, and we caught him red-handed. Sure enough, Gujin was framed by my elder brother. I took out my phone and waved it in front of the girl. I just recorded it. You have 10 minutes to confess to the teacher, otherwise, I'll play this recording on a loop at the school radio station. Your elder brother told me to do this. Why are you helping an outsider? I imitated Mr. Gu's expression and said coldly, you still have 9 minutes and 40 seconds. The girl looked panicked and ran towards the teacher's office. Actually, I didn't record it just now. I was bluffing her. During the second class break, the news spread. The class life committee member of Gujin's class went to the teacher and said that the class funds had been found. The money in Gujin's desk compartment was his own. And they had misunderstood him before. Zhang Baichen called me to the rooftop. Zhang Huan, are you crazy? If he hadn't taken your first place, would you have been beaten by Dad? I was avenging you, but why are you siding with an outsider? I let out a sigh and said, it's my dad's psychological problem that he hit me. What does it have to do with Gujin? You're the mastermind behind framing him for stealing money. By handling it this way, I'm already showing partiality to protect you. Zhang Baichen, don't bully a young man just because he's poor. If you bully him now, he will take revenge on us in the future. Zhang Baichen looked unconvincing and said, just him. As things stand now, Zhang Baichen's intention to torment Gujin is no longer to avenge me. Violence is like a drug addiction. Once it starts, there will be no bottom line. Give me your phone. Zhang Baichen took my phone, threw it against the wall, and stomped on it twice with force. Don't interfere next time I deal with him. In my previous life, I went abroad to study before finishing my senior year of high school, so I don't know how Zhang Baichen plotted against Gujin later. 07. The wall of the rooftop was curved, blocking the view. After Zhang Baichen left, Gujin came out from the other side of the rooftop. I was stunned. Had he heard everything just now? Gujin rolled up my sleeves. The higher he rolled, the denser the scars became. My skin was very fair, making the scars look even more ferocious. Besides your arm, where else do you have injuries on your body? He only hit my arm. I want to dance, and my dad was afraid that others would see the injuries. I looked into Gujin's eyes. His eyes were red, and there were tears in them. Mr. Gu, aren't you going to cry? Then, Gujin pressed my head against his chest and hugged me. Does your dad often hit you? I evaded his question and said brightly, I'm not the same person I used to be. If he hits me, I will fight back. I'll call the police or tell the elders in our clan, and he definitely won't dare to do it again. When I was young, I didn't dare to resist because I was afraid that my dad would abandon me if I did, but now, my soul is already 28 years old. I'm no longer afraid of patriarchal power and know how to fight back. There's a third option. The young man's tears dripped onto my neck, which was enough to shock me for a long time. Tell me, and I'll beat him up. Hitting people is against the law, then let it be against the law. I smiled and stroked his back, touched by the young man's enthusiasm. 08. Gujin picked up the broken phone. I'll fix it for you. Can you fix it even though it's broken like this? Yeah, after school, Gujin and I went home together. He took out a toolbox and fixed my phone for me. He had all the necessary parts. He soldered the circuit board and even replaced the display screen with a new one for me. You're so amazing. It's not difficult. I learned phone repair to earn money. Besides going to school, Gujin also had to earn money to support his family. Then how much should I pay you, Master Gu? I won't charge you. Then I invite you to watch me dance. I'm going to participate in a dance competition next Saturday. Will you come? Yes. 09. The dance competition was held in the Opera House. To my surprise, I saw Qin Zishu in the first row of the audience. In my previous life, we met when our two families had a dinner together. In this life, the time of our first encounter was advanced, and the scene was also different. Memories of my previous life came flooding back. Qin Zishu at the age of 18 loved me very much and followed me to study abroad. He courted me very romantically for a year, and we got together naturally. However, the good times didn't last long. In the third year of our relationship, he cheated on me. After I exposed him, he said, I just can't manage to love only you. It's not that I don't love you anymore. You will always be Mrs. Qin. What are you still fussing about? I broke up with him decisively, feeling that I had wasted 3 years of my youth. When I saw Qin Zishu at the age of 18 again, I felt physically uncomfortable, and my hands and feet turned cold. Gujin supported me. He followed my gaze but didn't ask anything. Instead, he helped me to the backstage. Gujin poured me a cup of hot water. Do you feel better? Yeah, I'm already okay. You can go and sit in the audience. I'm about to go on stage. I changed into my dance clothes and walked onto the stage. Gujin sat in the back row, hidden in the light and shadow, but I still saw him at a glance. I smiled at him and somehow felt at ease. Dance, I want to win. When the music started, I forgot all the entanglements of my previous and present lives, focused on the world of dance, and showed off my beauty. As soon as the dance ended, there was thunderous applause. The chandelier in the opera house lit up. I looked at Gujin, and we looked at each other from a distance, with my eyes misty with tears. Gujin was stunned and frowned as he looked at me. The audience thought that I was crying because I was so immersed in the dance and moved by the story of the dance music. In fact, I was crying out of joy. This dance was dedicated to Gujin. I wanted him to see how beautiful I was in my teenage years. In my previous life, he never saw me dance even once. He really missed out. I was very excited right after the dance. I heard the obsession buried deep in my heart. Gujin, how can you not love me? I don't want to be your canary. I don't want to be a little thing for you to satisfy your physical needs. I want to be your white moonlight, making you respect and love me, but reluctant to touch me. I also want to be a seductive fairy who bewitches you, possessing all your desires and making you unable to leave me, never be able to leave me. After being reborn, it's true that I want to stop Zhang Baichen from courting disaster. And it's true that I want to protect Gujin, but I'm like a ghost. I made a wish to the gods to ease the resentment in my heart. What the soul in this teenage body truly wants is to have all of the love of my previous life's lover. 10. I won the first place. Qin Zishu, as the representative of the sponsor, came onto the stage to present the award to me. Yuri Huan, right, Uncle Zhang recently asked my father for investment, and our two families will have more interactions in the future. Qin Zishu took out his phone, looking determined. Is it convenient for you to give me your phone number? Scumbag, go away, go away, go away. It's not convenient. I don't want to get to know you. I saw Gujin walking to the side of the stage, like a little crazy person. I directly jumped off the stage. Gujin's eyes showed panic, but he caught me firmly. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Mr. Gu, was my dance look good? His heart was pounding like a drum. His ears were red as if they were bleeding, and he looked at me without blinking. It was beautiful. My dance dress was a backless one, made of thin fabric, which showed off my figure very well. Gujin took off his black hoodie and put it on me. He pulled the zipper up high, almost choking me. Gujin looked at Qin Zishu on the stage, tilted his head, and his eyes were fierce and wild, just like a little wolf dog. 11. On the way back, I was in an excited state all the time. Ihuan, let me treat you to a meal to celebrate your award. Okay, what do you want to eat? Barbecued meat. Let's bring Auntie with us. The three of us sat in a barbecue restaurant. Gujin was busy grilling the meat and feeding me and his mother. Under the table, my knee was touching his knee. Gujin's ears became redder and redder, and he looked at me thoughtfully. I wrapped a large piece of streaky pork with lettuce. My mouth was stuffed like a little hamster, looking like an innocent and ignorant teenage girl. Auntie ate very gracefully, judging from her eyebrows and eyes. She must have been a beauty when she was young, that's why she gave birth to such a handsome son as Gujin. Auntie, do you remember who I am? Auntie smiled shyly and said seriously, you're Xiaojin's wife, cough cough cough, get married on the spot, Xiaojin likes you very much, Auntie said and took out a ring to put it on my finger. My Xiaojin is a stubborn child, once he likes someone, he will never change his heart, you two should live a good life together. I looked at the huge plastic ring on my ring finger. Was this a toy for children to play with? Mom, she's not my wife, she's my classmate, Zhang Yihuan. Gujin looked up at me and coughed dryly. Don't mind, my mom is just speaking without thinking. I took a sip of water tactically. Auntie is very cute. Suddenly, I remembered that Auntie passed away from illness very early, so I reminded him, as people get older, their bodies are more prone to problems. You should take Auntie for regular medical checkups. Gujin took it to heart and nodded in agreement. 12. My annoying brother and I are fraternal twins, and we celebrate our birthdays together every year. Zhang Baichen held a birthday party and invited a group of friends to come and have fun. I wore a beautiful dress and put on a light makeup. When I walked into the private room, I saw Qin Zishu. Zhang Baichen put his arm around Qin Zishu's shoulder. Huan Huan. Young Master Qin arranged this birthday party for you. Do you like it? The room was filled with roses, decorated in a dreamy and romantic way. Qin Zishu walked up to me with an exquisite jewelry box. Huan Huan, happy birthday, this is a gift for you. Open it and take a look. If I had known he was coming, I wouldn't have come. It's so annoying. Everyone cheered and clapped, and the atmosphere was warm and ambiguous. I was about to pick up the fruit wine on the table and pour it on him. At this moment, Gujin walked in carrying a fruit plate. It turned out that Gujin was working here. Zhang Baichen deliberately chose this place to hold the birthday party and continued to test the limits of courting disaster. Yo, isn't this the top student Gu? You're serving dishes here. The wealthy young men around burst into laughter, acting as superior onlookers. How much money can you earn a day by serving dishes? Zhang Baichen took out a stack of 100 yuan bills and threw them at Gujin. It's my birthday today. If you serve me well and make me happy, all this money will be yours. My fists clenched, and I laughed out of extreme anger. No, I'm very satisfied with him. He belongs to me tonight. In front of everyone with their jaws dropped in surprise, I grabbed Gujin's hand and walked angrily to the lobby. My brother is brainless. Don't take it to heart. I patted his shoulder. The young man looked quite handsome in a suit, with his broad shoulders, narrow waist, and long legs. He had a bit of the air of Mr. Gu, the gentle scoundrel. Okay, you can go and get back to work. I'm leaving. Gujin grabbed my wrist, tore off his bow tie, and bent down to smile at me. That smile was really beautiful, with a bit of a cute and naughty look. Yihuan, I belong to you tonight. Me, was he serious? I thought Gujin would do something fancy, but he took me to buy groceries and then cooked for me at home. Why do you look so disappointed? All the high-quality ingredients on this table cost him 1,000 yuan, even considering the price level 10 years later. Spending 1,000 yuan on a meal is still very luxurious. I picked up the tenderest piece of meat from the East Star grouper and gave it to Auntie. I just think you're selling yourself a bit short. I'm willing to, after the meal. Gujin took out a cake and carefully inserted the candles. Auntie was like a child and clapped happily. Happy birthday, daughter-in-law. Early, Gujin quickly covered Auntie's mouth. Make a wish, have a baby soon. Auntie, you really are something. I closed my eyes and made a wish. He said, Zhang Yihuan, happy 18th birthday. I wished that every year in the future, Gujin would accompany Zhang Yihuan to celebrate her birthday. 13. The next day, I heard that there would be a basketball-friendly match between No. 1 Middle School and Jialan High School. Gujin participated in it, so I signed up for the cheerleading team. Zhao Xiaoxing was in charge of organizing the cheerleading team. The cheerleading uniforms she prepared were miniskirts paired with tight short-sleeved tops. When we got on the coach, all the players were in an uproar. I saw that the seat next to Gujin was empty, so I sat beside him. Gujin was wearing headphones. Leaning his head back against the seat and resting with his eyes closed, his jawline was smooth, his Adam's apple was prominent, and he was wearing a basketball jersey. The muscle lines on his arms were strong, exuding a youthful and sexy charm. I poked the back of his hand. Can you share one of your earphones with me? Gujin opened his eyes and looked at me. His gaze lingered on my chest for a moment and then quickly moved away. He took off his earphones and handed them to me. I leaned close to his ear and joked, I'm dressed in a spicy girl style today, does it look good? Gujin closed his eyes and ignored me, but his ears turned red. It was familiar jazz music. His taste hadn't changed over the years. In the lazy singing, memories welled up in my heart. In the villa, the man held me and kissed me passionately. Are you in a good mood today? Gujin touched the back of my neck. Not bad, then. Can I ask you for a favor? Go ahead. My brother was tricked by his friend and owes 3 million yuan in usury. My dad was so angry about this that he got sick. Can you help my brother? Gujin immediately turned cold, let go of me, and got up to put on his clothes. Seeing that he was about to leave, I got out of bed barefoot. My brother bullied you, and he was in the wrong. You've already taken your revenge. Can't you spare him a way out? Gujin picked me up in his arms and let out a tired sigh. Yihuan, for your sake. I've already spared them a way out. The man kissed away my tears. Don't cry, it's just 3 million yuan. This is the last time. I was very happy and took the initiative once, but when I woke up in the middle of the night, Gujin wasn't by my side. I went downstairs in my pajamas. Gujin was sitting in the living room drinking. In the huge living room, he looked even more lonely. There was hatred and pain on Gujin's face. He clenched the wine glass tightly. The blue veins on his hand were throbbing. With a crisp sound, the wine glass shattered, and his hand was bleeding, but he didn't seem to care. As if he had found an outlet to release his pain, he picked up the broken glass and made a cut on his arm. It turned out that helping my brother made him so painful. I covered my mouth, hid behind the staircase railing, and tears streamed down my face. Do you get carsick? I came back to my senses and met the young man's concerned gaze. My face must have been very pale. Gujin unscrewed a bottle of mineral water and handed it to me. If you feel really uncomfortable, you can lean on my shoulder. I leaned on his shoulder, and the knot in my heart quickly dissipated. 14. Jialan High School is a prestigious school, and the facilities of the basketball court are very advanced. The stadium was filled with students. As the host, Jialan High School had a great home court advantage. Qin Zishu was the captain of the Jialan High School basketball team, and he was also the school heartthrob. All the girls in the stadium were shouting his name. Qin Zishu saw me and ran up to me. Huan, you look really beautiful today. Don't call me Huan, I'm not familiar with you. Qin Zishu grabbed my arm. Do you have some misunderstanding about me? Gujin pried Qin Zishu's hand away and said coldly, don't touch girls inappropriately. She said she's not familiar with you. Qin Zishu walked away with a face. Before the game started, the cheerleading team went onto the court to perform a cheerleading routine. Who is that girl leading the exercise in No. 1 middle school? She's so pretty. She's Zhang Yihuan, the school beauty of No. 1 middle school. She's so cute. Ah, she looked at me. Baby Yihuan, brother loves you. After I finished the cheerleading routine and went off the court, Gujin and his team came on. When we passed by each other, I said to Gujin, come on, okay, Zhao Xiaoxing said excitedly. When you were doing the cheerleading, everyone was fascinated by you. Did you see that? The cheerleaders from Jialan High School were so angry that their noses were almost crooked. I looked at the cheerleading team of Jialan High School. Sure enough, those girls were glaring at me with malicious eyes. I didn't care and focused on watching Gujin play basketball. Damn, is Gujin this fierce? His playing style is so aggressive. Qin Zishu can't even touch the ball. He has such good physical strength. I just realized today that Gujin is so handsome. Listening to others' praises of Gujin, I felt proud. He is indeed excellent. When the game ended, we won. Gujin became the top scorer of the game. His teammates surrounded him and regarded him as a hero. The young man I love should be this dazzling. I really wanted to rush up, hug him tightly, and kiss him hard. 15. We had finished the water we brought, and Zhao Xiaoxing asked me to go buy water with her. When we reached the grocery store, we were blocked by those girls from the cheerleading team of Jialan High School. Zhang Yihuan, you seem very proud today. I protected Xiaoxing behind me and said, a good dog doesn't block the way, move aside. They pushed me to the ground, and the leading girl poured milk on my face. Look at your, Senior Qin has been seduced by you. You dare to call us dogs. Come on, make a dog's bark and let us hear it. I was stunned and thought of Gujin. So this was what it felt like to be bullied. Feeling ashamed, angry, and helpless, the girl raised her hand to slap me. A slender hand with well-defined joints grabbed her wrist. Gujin's eyes were red, and he restrained himself, shaking off the girl. Scram. The girls were scared away by him. My chest was soaked with milk, and I was a bit exposed. Gujin took off his basketball jersey and put it on me. Can you stand up? yeah. Gu Jin helped me stand up, gritting his teeth. He cursed. I imitated him and also cursed. Gu Jin was stunned and finally smiled. He went to buy water and a towel and gently wiped my face and hair. Zhao Xiaoxing stood there dumbfounded, looking shocked throughout. Back in the classroom, Zhao Xiaoxing asked 3 consecutive questions. Didn't you hate Gu Jin? When did you two get so close? The way he looks at you, is it what I think it is? I grasped the key point. What's wrong with the way he looks at me, like melted cheese? Me? It's so affectionate. The corners of my mouth turned up, but the way I looked at him wasn't innocent either. 16, when I got home, I saw Qin Zishu and his parents. In my previous life, we just met for the first time today, during the dinner, when it came to the matter of me going to study at Berkeley College of Music. Qin Zishu immediately said that he also had a plan to study abroad. In my previous life, I had already experienced studying abroad, and there was no need to do it again. In this life, I want to go to university with Gu Jin. After the Qin family left, I began to persuade Zhang Jianming, Dad, many people in China don't know much about prestigious foreign universities. If we go to study abroad without taking the college entrance examination, others will think we got in with money. It's not as prestigious as getting into Tsinghua University or Peking University. Zhang Jianming cared most about face. He thought for a moment, if you can really get into Tsinghua University or Peking University, then go and study there. After all, Tsinghua University and Peking University are also quite good. However, a rumor spread in the school that the school heartthrob of Jialan High School was chasing the school beauty of No. 1 middle school. And he wanted to go to study in country M with me. I was too lazy to pay attention to Qin Zishu, let him go to study abroad by himself. My attention was all on Gu Jin. 17. During the summer vacation of senior year of high school, Gu Jin started his first business venture. With the money he had saved from working part-time in the past few years, he established an electronics factory, hired 7 or 8 workers, and took on outsourcing orders for mobile phone refurbishment. This year had the same historical background as the movie Nice View. Smartphones hadn't been popularized yet, and refurbished phones with affordable prices had a good market. Each era has different opportunities. Gu Jin has a keen business sense. Later, he also caught up with the internet boom and became a business tycoon in just a few years. Gu Jin received a large order, and after completing it, he could make a profit of 200,000 yuan. He worked overtime with the workers. Even after the workers got off work, he was still working overtime, and his eyes were bloodshot from exhaustion. Gu Jin, pay attention to taking a rest. Don't wear yourself out, Yihuan. I'm really too poor. I want to make money, a lot of money. You can make money gradually. He looked at me with an enigmatic gaze. No, I can't be any slower. I just felt, presumably, he had endured a lot of hardships along the way. I raised my hand and touched the back of the young man's neck. Gu Jin. In the future, you will achieve success and fame, and you will get everything you want, so, don't push yourself too hard. Okay, I will. Although Gu Jin promised me, he still went his own way and worked overtime, staying up late. Finally, Gu Jin completed the order on schedule. 18. On the day of delivery, Gu Jin called me. Yihuan, yeah, I will have money, and I will become someone worthy of you. Gu Jin's voice even had a hint of a sob, yet it was extremely firm. Yihuan, please wait for me a little longer. Okay. Somehow, I suddenly remembered the scene of the last time I went to school in my previous life. After I finished my business, I was walking out. It was raining at that time. Suddenly, Gu Jin ran out in the rain. Are you leaving? Yeah. I gripped the strap of my school bag tightly, really afraid that he would go crazy again. Then, will you come back? Perhaps because I was about to leave my hometown, I felt a bit more sentimental. And my attitude towards him became a little better. I walked closer to him and held an umbrella for him. Under the same umbrella, I looked up at him. The raindrops dripped down along his chin. The young man's expression was indifferent, but his eyes were so sad. Of course I will come back. How many years? In how many years will you come back? 3 years, 5 years, it's not certain. At this moment, Zhang Chenbai called me. Huan, what are you wasting your breath on with this lunatic? Let's go. I smiled at Gu Jin and stuffed the umbrella into his hand. Gu Jin, I wish you success in the college entrance examination. Goodbye. The memory stopped abruptly. A flash of inspiration came to my mind. Perhaps, in my previous life, Gu Jin had liked me. That's why when he was framed for stealing money, he was so persistent in seeking my trust. That's why when I went to study abroad, he looked so sad. And at that time, influenced by my elder brother, I really hated him. Remembering the recent rumor in school that I was going to study abroad with Qin Zishu, was there also such a rumor in my previous life? So from his perspective, did he think I was going to study abroad with the person I liked, Gu Jin? So you worked so hard to make money, besides wanting to give Auntie a better life, was I also a factor, because my family is rich? You felt inferior and thought you needed to make a lot of money to be worthy of me. There was silence on the other end of the phone. I pressed on, Gu Jin, answer me. Yes, I smiled with misty eyes. Silly, I'm not going to study abroad with Qin Zishu. I'm not going to study abroad anymore. This time, let's take the college entrance examination and get into Tsinghua University or Peking University together. After saying that, I quickly hung up the phone. My heart was pounding like a drum, and my cheeks were burning hot. Anyway, this counts as my confession first. 19. I went downstairs, planning to have a glass of ice water to calm down. Xiao Chen, I heard that there's a young lad named Gu Jin who took your company's order. I'd like to ask you to cancel the order. Ha ha ha. Okay, we can talk about that project you mentioned last time again. My dad hung up the phone. And my elder brother said proudly, Dad, you really have a way. This time, Dad avenged you. Learn from this in the future. Only barbarians solve problems by fighting. I clenched my fists. I never expected that my dad would help my elder brother deal with a high school student. I quietly went upstairs and called Gu Jin, but the phone couldn't get through anymore. When I rushed to the factory, Gu Jin wasn't there. As if that wasn't enough, at this very moment, something happened to Auntie. She fell down and had a cerebral hemorrhage. She urgently needed 100,000 yuan for the surgery. So, in my previous life, my dad and my elder brother messed up Gu Jin's order, making him unable to afford the surgery fee and causing Auntie's death. No wonder, Gu Jin hated the Zhang family so much. No wonder, when I asked him to take out 3 million yuan to help my elder brother pay off the usury, he was in so much pain. Back then, it was my father and elder brother who made him unable to even afford 100,000 yuan and made him watch helplessly as his mother died on the sickbed. This time is different. This time, he has me. I will definitely turn this situation around and change all of this. 20. I rushed to the hospital that the worker mentioned and met Gu Jin at the payment counter. He was calling Boss Chen. Boss Chen, all my goods have passed the inspection. Why did you break the contract? The other party could get greater benefits from my dad, so they must have said some unpleasant words. Gu Jin frowned. At this moment, he was willing to kneel to anyone. How about this? As long as you give me 100,000 yuan, you can take all these goods away. Even with such a concession, Boss Chen still hung up the phone. My mom passed away when I was very young. She left me a sum of inheritance, which I could freely dispose of when I turned 18. I paid the surgery fee for Auntie. Gu Jin watched me pay the fee without saying a word. Outside the operating room, Gu Jin stood there looking extremely tired. Yihuan, thank you. I will pay this money back as soon as possible. I hugged him tightly and stroked his back. Xiao Jin, don't be afraid. Auntie will be okay. Gu Jin froze. And then he hugged me and buried his face in my neck. He kept shaking. He was really afraid that his mother would die. In my previous life, when he faced all this alone, how desperate must he have been. 7 hours later, the surgery was over, the doctor said. The surgery was a success, and the patient is out of danger. The huge stone in my heart finally dropped. In this life, there is no deep-seated hatred between us, and he can finally love me wholeheartedly. 21. After many years, I had become Mrs. Gu. Back then, after Auntie recovered, I told Gu Jin what my father and elder brother had done. Gu Jin, through his own efforts, visited many companies and finally sold that batch of goods. I was completely disappointed in my father and elder brother and chose to live on campus. When the college entrance examination results came out, Gu Jin and I were both admitted to Tsinghua University or Peking University. Gu Jin built his fortune following the path of his previous life and became a business tycoon. We became the most envied couple among our classmates, going from school uniforms to wedding dresses. Zhao Xiaoxing was playing with my twin sons and teasing, Huan Huan, why are you pregnant again? Are you the type who can get pregnant just by being looked at by Mr. Gu? Actually, he was afraid that I would be in pain and didn't want me to have a second child, but I really want a daughter. So, I used a little trick. Hee. Zhao Xiaoxing gave me a thumbs up. Can you believe it? The soft and cute school beauty Zhang in high school is so bold after marriage. That's right. Living 2 lifetimes isn't for nothing, stay overnight tonight, let's sleep together. Zhao Xiaoxin crossed her hands and refused. No way, last time I slept at your place for 1 night, the way Mr. Gu looked at me clearly showed that he wanted to kill me. I laughed. Mr. Gu is a bit clingy. After my best friend left, my mother-in-law came back riding a tricycle. Over the years, my mother-in-law has always liked picking up trash. Aluminum cans and cardboard boxes are her favorites. I was worried about her, so I hired someone to accompany her when she picked up trash. Today, she had a great harvest and was stepping on aluminum cans in the courtyard of the villa. Our 3-year-old twin sons like stepping on aluminum cans the most. My mother-in-law and the children were having a great time. I wanted to help, but she immediately stopped me and pointed at my belly. There's a baby in there, daughter-in-law. Take a rest. My mother-in-law's mental state is similar to that of a 6 or 7-year-old child, and she can really play well with the children. I sat on the deck chair and watched them having fun. I felt a sense of contentment as if time was passing peacefully. 22. The doorbell rang, and my dad and my elder brother came. Recently, the Zhang Corporation, due to poor management, had its capital chain broken. They came to ask for money. I had already given them all the inheritance my mom left me, but it was still just a drop in the bucket and couldn't fill such a huge gap. When I saw them coming, I immediately asked the nanny to take my mother-in-law and the children inside. Zhang Jianming said dissatisfiedly, I came to see my grandchildren. As soon as I arrived, you asked someone to take the children away. What do you mean? If you just came to see the children, of course I would let you see them. I've given you all my money. If you came to ask for money, there's not a penny left. Zhang Baichen snorted coldly. Gu Jin is so rich. What's wrong with him helping the company? He doesn't owe you anything. Back then, you messed up his order and made him unable to afford the surgery fee. You almost killed his mother. Why should he help you? They had already killed her once. Seeing that I was emotional, my father and elder brother were afraid that I would get too worked up and harm the baby, so they left. Gu Jin's body visibly stiffened, and the ferocity on his face hadn't faded away, but he finally stopped. Just, Yihuan, why are you crying? Gu Jin came back. He squatted in front of me and wiped my tears. Is the baby making you uncomfortable? I patted and hugged his neck. No, it's just, I suddenly missed you so much. Gu Jin sighed and said seriously, then I'll take paternity leave. I don't want to go to work for even a single day anymore. I burst into laughter through my tears. Gu Jin is so smart that nothing can be hidden from him. At night, my elder brother sent me a message. Huan, Gu Jin said he will help us this time. And it will also be the last time he helps us. Huan, brother knows he was wrong. It was my fault back then. Others all say that Gu Jin has a stubborn character and